Hey guys, and welcome to a new episode of Coaching Couch. It's been a while since we have been here, but we are back, and we are so back. In fact, we have like one of the
Go back.
we have one of the best guests ever to be on this show.
Uh, Hell yeah.
Hell yeah! And it's April 12th, ladies and gentlemen.
One of the best of the three, so I'm second or third place is what you're saying.
Probably third, more like third, close.
Yeah,
It's a close debate though, but yeah.
that sounds about right, yeah. Who did you go first? I forget.
Um, let's get started. I'd say I don't want to make look. I want to make friends, not foes. Okay,
Sure, yeah. But you aren't good at that.
probably.
You're actually notably bad at making friends, I think. As a
Well,
friend. From friend to
from friend to friend.
yeah.
Well, maybe you're just a douchebag.
Yeah, and calling people shit like that is why you're bad at making friends. All right. You feel. I think you get it.
You see, I didn't bring you on to state your opinion. I did bring you
I
on to
didn't
tell me how good
I
I
didn't
am.
I didn't join BBL to make friends.
I did it to win trophies, and trophies win I did. And you
Mm,
didn't
yeah,
with
one.
April.
True. Well, I wasn't involved with April during the lost Super
Yeah,
Bowl,
that's why they
unfortunately.
lost though, right?
Yeah, true, because they didn't have me well, honestly, if it came down to season 2 and they didn't have me coaching at the finals, that is kind of a skill issue.
True.
Because like
It is. But
yeah.
we will get to that. The
Yeah,
whole
there's
coaching
more to
thing.
explore with that.
There is more to
That's
explore. But
yeah.
where I want to start
Yeah, for
is
all the listeners thinking that's just a joke we're a bit having at the beginning. No, it is not a joke, and that will get explored more later this episode. So stick around, stay tuned in, baby.
yeah, big reveal
Yeah,
coming.
yeah, you got a big yeah,
Yeah, you have to listen to all of it though,
yeah. You have to
because it's somewhere.
oh, you have to listen to the whole thing. And that is my captive audience pitch to you is that if you really want to know big reveal secret, then you got to stick around. It's going to be at the 43:57. I don't know.
Our mark.
Yeah. The 4,357 hour mark. That's right.
Okay, so you are April 12th, the
Yeah.
only April 12th in existence
Well,
to
that's
ever
not true.
create a league of his own.
That's true.
You created VBL specifically. I also have a tournament running, but not as fancy as you have.
Hey, don't lie to yourself. That like IO is not just a tournament. It is a league. Like let's not lie to ourselves here. Like it's staged as a tournament, and I know lore-wise it's a tournament, but the way you have it set up is just fully a league. And I don't know why you think it's
I think
just a tournament.
what differentiates it is that IO won't have like a second season or something.
Sure. But like you are running it as a league, so I think it's safe to say
Probably.
it's a league.
Yeah.
But like Quarry would be a tournament. The off season of VBL would be a tournament. But like it's a league. IO is a league.
I guess it's long enough to be a league.
And
That's
you
like
have enough stages for it to be a league.
oh yeah, probably I do. And also with 32 teams, I think it's the biggest league there is.
Yeah, the whole thing, like as long as it's not a bracket, it's a league as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So it's a league. Um, but what I was really going to is the two of us have the only, I would say, big ball style, even though IO isn't really big ball style, but it has all the number calculations for it to
Oh
be
yeah.
one.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I want to say something about that. I'm super petty. So I on my VBL like schedule sheet where I keep track of all the Schmaxel, you know this, all the lineups and stuff.
yeah.
I also have a, little chart of every single fan league to ever exist in the entire community, and I rank them by most viable to least viable. Um, And so, you've got a lot of the dead leagues at the very bottom, some of the ones that never came to fruition at the very bottom. I think the last place is the BBL 2K one, because, like, of course it is. But that's how deep cut it goes, is it has BBL 2K on
I
there.
don't even know what that is.
Yeah, yeah, of course you don't. But, yeah, not to brag or anything, VBL is at the top, coming
Obviously. Makes
first or
sense. And
second in
deserved.
every metric. IO does come in second place, but, like, the number of points that it has, like VBL has 16, IO has 8, and then third place SIFA has 6. It's like, yeah, it's a distant second. But the bottom line is I have them by category as well, based on my subjective opinion of them and the kind of community view of them. And I've got different categories for the for living, dead, and what I call fetus leagues, the ones that haven't started yet. So yeah, the categories I got for the active ones are semi-official, credible, up and coming, and shit league in that order. And the only two leagues that qualified for semi-official, and one of the requirements for that, of course, is being used for scouting for BBL LBL, are the VBL and IO. Not to self-glaze or anything, but totally to self-glaze. Those are the two. SIFA, it does come in third, and it's above Hoopland, which I put as credible, but I put it as up and coming because I feel like it's not as widely like watched in the BBL community as like Hoopland is. Hockey League, shit league, BHL, shit league. I don't know what to tell you. You know. But the dead leagues, you've got like Ancient Relic, where it's like it was credible, but it's so fucking dead. Yeah. Then it's got can return, which is like, oh yeah, it's credible enough to potentially make a return. Can't return, well, self-explanatory. And then Dead Fish, which is just why did it did like one game and it's cooked. Um,
ASBL is what you're saying.
ASBL actually qualified for Ancient Relic. It did only have a couple games, but those games were pretty fucking wildly successful.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it was like one of the founding fan leagues. Like you got to give it credit where
Yeah,
credit's due.
absolutely.
It was it
It had a
was it was a
working
big
sim.
deal at the time. Yeah, the only two I put as Ancient Relic are the ASBL and the SBL. The first one with Chat GPT,
Oh
the one that
yeah,
was later replaced by
yeah, I played in them.
SPBL. Yeah, yeah, as the Oya Geckos,
Oh
right?
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Um, then for the fetus leagues, I've got not started, hopeless, and aborted because it's a fetus league.
Dude,
But
what the fuck?
the only one, oh well, the only one that started qualified for not started, and this is not fully up to date. So this league actually has started now and probably would qualify for either up and coming or shit league by this point. Is the Bikey EYBL. Probably up and coming because at least it has like a sim that people want to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
But the hopeless ones that I have are like it still is promising to start, but it won't, and we all know that. That's college big ball, of course.
Yeah,
That's like the
I have been
notorious
waiting
one,
for this one.
as well. You're still waiting for it, really?
No, I was waiting for you to call it a shit league or something.
No, it doesn't qualify for shit league because it never started, but it qualifies for hopeless.
Yeah, that
But
makes a lot of sense then.
BBL IFA is the other hopeless fetus league that I put under
Yeah,
hopeless. Yeah, because like
I
they're
see
still
why.
promising, to start, but we know they won't. Come on now. Yeah, and then BBL 2K is the only aborted one because they fully said, yeah, we're not going to do it anymore. This isn't happening." And I respect that almost
Yeah,
more than the hopeless leagues. Like
absolutely.
I have more respect for BBL 2K than college big ball, just for like obvious reasons that they're not stringing along the community. Same with BBL IFA. I have very little respect for that organization as well too. But the reason that BBL IFA actually placed 8th of 19 despite not having a single game is the fact that they have the most followers of any of these accounts.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, they have 442 followers, which at the time of recording, VBL had 410 followers, and I recorded all this 4 days ago. It's currently like 435 or something, so that won't be in first place
You
for long.
you
It'll be
surpassed me
BBL.
with your league on my personal account,
Yeah,
my coaching account.
I surpassed January 30th. That's pretty big. But
That is pretty big, but I'm bigger than
yeah,
Jan 30.
BBL. Are you? I thought you weren't.
I think I am. Let me double check that. But
No,
I think
he had
I'm
like
on
fourth place.
430. No,
Oh, really?
417 actually, and he may have more actually.
I mean, he may
Um.
have lost a couple followers.
Oh, he is 6 followers up ahead of me.
You suck. You're not even the biggest in January.
Yeah, that's true
But
though.
yeah, the metrics I have are the like comparative metrics are total days ran. That's like longevity of the league. Number of seasons, and you've got a bunch that are at 1.
Yeah,
And then Hoopland is the only one at 2.
which is
So that
respectable.
it gets a first place for that. Number of official games. It is a tight race between VBL and IO. At the time I recorded this, VBL had 97 games and IO had 91, with the next one being CIFA with 71. Uh, so it's not really close after that, but it's a tight race between VBL and IO. Then followers, of course, where it's BBL IFA in first, VBL in second, and SBL and SPBL tied for third because they share the same account, which I think is kind of cheating, but that's, whatever. Highest view count on a single official game, highest like count on a single official game, which of course
Yeah,
VBL takes first,
yeah.
ASBL takes second on all of those because those are the only ones that had a chance of making it viral. I was surprised actually. The highest like count, it was tied. The second place was tied between ASBL and SFL, for 49 likes. So that was I don't know,
That's an
something of note.
that's an achievement in
But
this community at this point. Yeah.
yeah, good work to SFL, which is like kind of the big reason that they're up in fifth place right now, right behind ASBL. But the way that I counted all the points for each of the leagues is if you get a first place in any category, that's 3 points. If you get a second place, it's plus 2 points. If you get a third place, it's plus 1 for any of the categories. And also, you get an automatic plus 1 if you're not dead or a fetus. Like if you're a running league, you get an automatic plus 1.
So you said I had, or like the IO had 8 points in total?
That's correct. You had the most number of days ran at 88 as of July 19th.
Oh yeah.
One season you came in second for, like everyone is tied for second in that. Official games 91 second place. So that's 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 for being a running league. That's 8 points.
Yeah, that's fair.
And VBL has 65 days ran, tied for second with SIFA. I don't know how we just randomly started on the exact same date, but tied for second with number of seasons ran, but I'm soon to be tied for first because,
2 seasons.
Friday. But official games, first place, it's 3 points. Number of followers, second place, it's 2. Highest view count, a long shot, first place. Highest like count, also a long shot, 80. First place, that's 16 points plus the plus 1. So it's like, it's interesting to see all this.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
But it also feels kind of dirty, but it's also fun. I don't know. I like tracking social media stats more than BBL stats.
And that's fair, to be honest. I think it's important to track these things, especially because like all the leagues, especially the ones that are similar to one another, they could be counted as rivals.
Yeah, like Hockey League, BHL, they're totally rivals.
Yeah.
Or they're at least each other's competition if they're not rivals. But yeah, like they have like the exact same stats for everything except BHL is a larger account because, it started with some sort of following already on the account. And then you've got like stuff like Hoopland and SIFA. They're like potentially competition for each other if Hoopland is able to pick up some more social media steam. I mean, Hoopland like is ahead of SIFA in followers, but it's just, the like views and shit. Like there isn't really anything pushing them to be notable, where at least SIFA has the total days ran, which is really giving them a lot, and the number of official games. So it's
Yeah, I mean that also makes a lot of sense the way you explain it, like your whole system. Um, I find it interesting that besides me only posting pictures, not reels, and just having like my simulation that is correct in terms of BBL season one, numbers and all,
Hmm.
and has implemented all of the evolutions of LBL regular season, BBL season 1 and 2 regular season, and of course the playoffs of season 1 BBL.
Hmm.
And it still manages, to just be pictures and be considered a BBL type league.
Yeah, that is a miracle feat that you were able to pull that off.
And I think it has a lot to do with like my reach in the community as a whole.
Yeah, your credibility. You can really only start a credible league if you already have credibility, which is pretty much why Hoopland and SIFA, because they haven't revealed who's actually behind it, are not able to have the same reach.
Yeah.
Even though they do have, like, I mean, obviously SIFA is more than likely managed by Darkchild. We know that. Um, and Darkchild has been reposting all of that stuff. It still doesn't have the exact same reach because it's not like the Darkchild League, whereas IO is the Schmaxel League and BBL is the April 12th League. These are big names that you know.
Yeah, it's true.
But SIFA is just kind of SIFA, and Darkchild heavily endorses it, is how it's kind of largely viewed. And I think that's probably a detriment, other than the fact that the Sims are each like 10 minutes long or something. And like they have the highest view count and the highest like count. Those are both higher than Hoopland only because they posted the one VBL reel. Like their highest view count is on the VBL collab with their All Star. Their highest like count is with their VBL collab on their All Star. So it's
You're on top
like
of all of this.
I have the specific posts that were the highest views for the ones that post reels and the highest likes for all of them. I can tell you right now, the highest likes on any International Open official game is your Portugal versus Italy during the round robin stages.
Which makes a lot of sense considering it's back in the day when it was a lot more active in the community, and also two of the
And
biggest teams
Italy,
fan wise.
yeah, Italy had a lot of fans.
Yeah.
Portugal too, yeah. I mean, it had
Sadly,
Poland,
one of
like
these
July
teams
fan
fell off
base.
hard.
Yeah, yep, yeah. I
You
mean, I
wanna?
did at least on it. I don't know why I
You
was always in the
absolutely did.
lineups, but
Also, the lineups just didn't get submitted for like 2 games in a row.
yeah,
It's a miracle you guys managed to win your. Or actually, did you win that?
no,
No, I think you
I
you
don't think
lost your
so.
first knockout game, right?
Yeah, we didn't do too hot.
Yeah.
I think we went like 2-2 in the round robin anyway. We didn't really do great.
Yeah, but you still managed to secure second place because Portugal was like absolutely just smurfing the whole group, going
Yeah,
4-0, not leaving many wins to be distributed.
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was. Rumble stage, it's a pain in the ass though.
Hmm.
It's a pain in the ass because it took I think 5 weeks, and those 5 weeks were so fucking stressful.
Yeah,
Like it's 7 games a week, like the making of the posts, running of the sims, and the worst part is getting the lineups. But you know that.
oh my God, I know that.
Getting the
Oh,
lineups. I love this community for all it is, but some people are just so incredibly lazy in terms of lineups.
yeah. In running the VBL, I learned that that was like the hardest thing that I had to take care of was getting all of the lineups for every single team. And it was like, okay, well, I have to check in with all 12 of them. Yes, okay, good. And then I have to actually get a response back from all of them.
Hey, that's the
And I
biggest
don't even
problem.
like, I mean, if you look at all of the VBL season 1 teams, I can pull them up here real quick. I mean, they they like there was a good amount of them that didn't submit shit.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think a huge part of that is because all of the people that normally run the teams and submit lineups were on the COTY roaches.
True, yeah, yeah. Roaches were always great because 15 always was timely on them.
Yeah.
Titans were very communicative. I think actually I don't think they missed one. Hawks, oh wow, yeah, Jerry July, he missed like 8 of the 11 Yeah,
Holy shit.
he went way inactive after the start of it. It was pretty bad. Inzinity with the Majesty, always on top of it. Love him. April 49 actually missed a couple with the Sea Hound. I think he
Oh,
missed
that's not a good. That's not a good show for you. For
yeah,
nine.
he missed 2 or 3 slates, but that was also around the time that he was like sort of retiring, but like not. So like it makes some sense, but like, you're still in charge of a team there.
Yeah, he.
Towers, amazing. Always
Oh
submitted their
yeah.
lineups. I'm really glad that Titans and Towers made it to the end because the Titans were great because at the end they started like starting like the same 3 people every game, and I was like, are you just gonna start these people every game? And they were like, yes, and I was like, sounds good. So I just stopped asking them as we got to the finals,
Yeah,
but
they made it pretty
Towers
easy.
kept
Yeah.
switching him around. But like they kept starting, November 3rd and September 24th and September 9th, and that was their starting 3, and they killed it.
Yeah.
Because like, November 3rd was the MVB, and September 24th ended up being playoffs MVB. It's like they really had a good thing going, and September 9th was nothing to scoff at either. Like it was a really good extra option, third man. Let's see. Roosters, yeah, July fan page was actually a little tough with lineups. He was not
Yeah,
amazing
I
because
noticed that on the Portugal account too.
he would be like, "I messaged you my lineup," and I was like, "No, you didn't," and he was like, "Yeah, I did," and I would send him a screenshot of me asking him, and then all the text since then, he'll be like, "Oh, I guess I didn't," and I was like, "Yeah, well, the deadline was a little while ago. I guess I can give you an extra hour while I'm still simming these other games," but it was just it was a little frustrating.
I had Times as a backdrop for that.
Yeah, and
Because
I'm glad
one
that I
of the
have.
most active people when it comes to submitting lineups or really just thinking about what lineups to submit, at least for IO, is Times.
Yeah, I'm glad I have times on the February Flash because otherwise I'd have ratings, who is not the easiest to communicate with. Not that Times is always really easy to communicate with, but he's always very communicative,
Yeah.
and that goes a long way. So I'm very glad to have him kind of at least helping to run the Flash pretty much in its entirely. But when he asked me what February players were already in BBL and LBL, and then only picked from those, I was like, what are you doing? He was like, well, any advantage I can get, I'm gonna take. And I'm like, you realize this doesn't actually give you an advantage, right? And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, there's no AI. And he's like, well, but it still makes a difference. And I just stopped arguing with him at that point because like it doesn't, like it objectively doesn't make a difference. But whatever. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
4 times it.
Miami,
Yeah.
yeah, Miami was all right with lineups. They were another team that kind of just started using the same few, so I stopped asked them if I could stop asking them, and then stopped asking them. Shredders were good. Shredders were always good at getting me lineups.
Yeah,
The
James
the
is
problem
really
with Shredders
active.
though, yeah, the problem with Shredders though is that whenever they lost something, or sometimes when they lost something, they would ask for a relegation match, and I was like, shit, just one more thing, I guess. So I would do it, but at least it's once I've run it, I know what their starting 3 is, and I
Yeah.
don't have to keep on waiting for something. So it wasn't too bad. Orcas were pretty uncommunicative. I did not love their lack of communication. Also, their fall off since the beginning of the season was insane. Of the last 8 games in the season, we won 2.
Oh, shit.
It was bad. Um,
I think
like
that's
they had
how
this.
many we lost in the last 8.
Yeah, that's right.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's the other way
Uh,
around, it was.
the Orcas ended up with the same record as the Shredders and Miami with 5-6, but were so far behind in goals differential that it just did not matter. Spain was pretty bad with lineups. Barn Owls were the funniest ones. Around like
I
slate,
know about
yeah.
Spain a lot. I
Oh
had to go
yeah.
through that too.
About slate 3 or 4, Barn Owls just said, "I will be using these 3 every game for the rest of the entire season, and you can quote me on that." And I was like, "Okay." So I just wrote it down, and they lost every game from then on out. They won nothing after that, which was kind of sad to see because it's like,
It's
sure,
sad
you
to
don't
see,
want to
but at the
change it.
same time, it's
He's
just
like
like,
he's like he's like October 7th is the it should have gotten an All-Star game, and it's like he got like 9 fallouts and maybe 2 KOs over like 11 games played. He doesn't
Oh,
deserve to be on the All-Star game. I don't know what to
oh
tell you.
no.
It's like yes, he is the best player on your team, but that is not saying a whole lot. It was yeah,
Oh
that
shit.
was funny.
Yeah, but coming back to times really quick, whenever he submits lineups or asks something, you damn well know he's respectful with it. He has a lot
What do
of
you mean?
respect, I feel like.
Yeah. 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 Well, yeah.
Sometimes, in group chats or coaching debates or something, he pushes a little, which is alright.
Yeah.
He has a lot of
He
confidence, which is it's
yeah.
alright. He
Uh-huh.
can have it. But when it comes to like submitting lineups, asking for friendlies, asking for he was also the only person in the IO to ever want his total player stats. Like for all players, every
Yeah.
single
Yeah, he
stat that's on the text sheet of the simulation, he asked for that to see what players are the best, and I
he is a
respect
very
that.
he's a very deep thinker about all of his lineups.
Yeah,
And even the ones that don't use AI, and it's like, well, I mean, like for VBL, it does not matter. I promise you, it does not matter.
yeah, but still,
Um, for
I would
LBL,
do
it
the
doesn't matter,
same,
but
to be honest.
but yeah, like that, it just shows his commitment, and he like
Hmm.
once you are done because AI isn't coming back in BBL, we all know that. Um,
We'll come to that later.
he's probably gonna be the next you in like let me really deep think and deep dive all of these tiny minuscule details about completely randomized simulations. It's like
I would wish that for him, to be
I
honest,
think he'll do it. I
because
think
he
he'll do it
has
and he'll do
the
it
stuff to
well.
do it, and he also stated multiple times that I'm sort of his idol. I think, which
Yeah.
yeah, I just didn't expect that to happen anytime, and especially not from someone like Times, who has been through a lot in this community.
Yeah, he's been around a long time. I remember seeing him as one of the big medias and was like, "Oh, that's just a big media, I guess." It's like him and TBZ that were like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's just those are the guys." I don't know. At least when
exactly.
I joined.
And now he's
People always
coaching, and I'm
people
his
always
idol
forget
somehow.
yeah, people always forget that I joined the community like mid-March. So that's like really late compared to a lot of these people. Like I was talking about it with like September 5th in the July fan page chat for a while, and he was like, "Yeah, yeah, I was only here since like February 5th or something, a week after you, January 30th." And I was like, "I came here on March 15th." And they were like, "What?"
When was
It's
that?
September 15th, September 5th was like, "Yeah, I thought you were there a lot longer than I was in the community."
How? When was that? Like season one terms? Was
It
it
would have
like?
been like right before the Super Bowl, or a
Oh,
little bit
really?
before the Super Bowl. Yeah, yeah. I've been watching BBL since like late December, so like really early on.
So you
But
watched me grow in the community right at the start in like week 10 of the regular season.
I wasn't paying attention to the community at that point. I really
All
only
right.
started paying attention to the community like right before I made my April 12th account. So when I joined the community, you were one of the big names.
Damn.
So I did not see you grow. I only saw you grown.
That's crazy to think of because all the time I also thought you were like one of the founding fathers of the community, but you grew into it just like I did, which is it's nice
And
to see.
I'm glad that it felt that way. But I mean, like in all reality, I only really started being like a huge thing in the community, and not even really that huge. Like late April, maybe.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
that's around the point where people started to really like know me.
April
I
12th
started to
is
get
really your
connections.
birthday, also in the community.
Well, yeah.
Sort
I
of.
mean, shoot, April 12th, like on the actual day, I probably would have been. I mean, I think that was like when I was recently signed to the Trailblazers or something. Um,
I mean,
back
that's
when,
where you really gathered your image, I think.
yeah. I mean, like a lot of. Well, I think probably my biggest break, where people really knew me from originally, would have been Major Ball League Philadelphia Freight Trains.
Oh yeah.
because I think I made a lot of really important connections right there. And that would have been May 1st, April 29th, January 30th. Well, I actually already was kind of had a connection with January 30th. He was commenting a lot on my posts. I think he saw me as like the small guy that was really committed to it. And January 15th, that's where I met him too. He was one of our players, and I was like, should we really hire this guy? He's a pool ball. I don't think he quite gets it.
Yeah, same
Um,
thought I had.
and now he's a staple, man. Everyone
Yeah.
knows him. Yeah.
The
It's
community
funny
honestly
because
needs him.
yeah,
It's like,
looking back at it, he actually started his account like 15 days after I started mine. So he's also pretty recent in the community. Um, so that's kind of funny. But it was great to like my probably like actual big break was with Italy, getting signed to Italy. You know, you've
oh
got
yeah.
JC who really knows me, and he
JC
took me under
made
his
you
wing.
grow, dude.
He was the guy there.
Oh
He
yeah.
was like, "Oh yeah, I like your posts." And it was right after I had made the official or like my professional debut post about our friendly with January or something. And or something like that. Friendly with someone. Maybe it was like
I think it was
Portugal or something.
Germany
I don't know.
actually.
Germany, yeah, sure. But I made a post about it, and it looked really good because it was a Canva template, and I just learned what Canva templates were, and it looked fucking great, like amazing. Love that post. It's one of my favorite posts to this day. And JC saw it and was like, "This is great. You're doing great. I would like to sign you for 2 more years under Italy, and I would like you to be our social media manager." And I was like, "I don't know if I can do that second thing." But I can make a post for you for like meet the team or something. And he was like, yes, do that, do that. I want it tonight. I had an essay due that night, and I was like, so that essay I got turned in late because I was working really heavily on the meet the team post for like 5 hours straight. This
You
was when
were
I had no
working on
no
balls and
cancel.
turned your essay in late for that.
Yep. Yeah, this was back in probably early April, something like that. It was and the meet the team post came out amazing. Completely like no template. It was completely original stuff. Came out so good. Um, and it is still it's the best post on the Italy team page, which isn't saying a whole lot, but it's
Yeah,
saying
because
enough.
it died a while back.
Yeah. I mean, rip Zenith Athletics, whatever.
Yeah,
But
not a lot of good memories on that one because I remember asking lineups very frequently and just getting left on red, which I do not appreciate at all.
yeah, he was
In
a little bit
fact,
of a
I fucking
d-bag, I think.
hate that.
But what was cool from that, what was cool from the and you're gonna laugh at me for this. What was cool from making that post and like tagging all these people that are like big names because it's Italy, they're all under JC. We got September 7th, July 6th, June 30th. June 30th followed me. Then September 7th followed me. And I was like, these are like celebrities.
Yeah, at that time they
Uh
definitely were and sort of still are.
and it was like soon after that, it's like September 7th won the Ball d'Or, and I was like, yeah, it's that guy follows me. I don't know. It was I was geeking over it for a bit. It was pretty great.
You
Um,
also, I mean, just we've been talking for a while, the two of us. We
yeah.
talked like
I
two
mean,
times over voice chat. We have been writing for an eternity, it feels, but it isn't really that long.
yeah,
A few
yeah.
weeks, I think.
We probably met around. No, actually, I can pinpoint the time that we met, and that would have been when you ran the Italy versus January sim.
Yeah.
That friendly was the one where I heard your voice for the first time, and it was the voice of God, and he was telling us all these stats, and I was the only one watching because it was after the game, and you were like, "How can I fix this sim a little bit?" And I was like, maybe this," and I was like in the middle of my acapella rehearsal or something. I was like, I like I can't really listen to this, but I'll be like, yeah, I'm still here. And then but I made a connection with you more through the Philadelphia freight trains as well. Like that's another
Yeah, for
important
the
that's
friendlies.
that is one of the most important connections I made through there. Yeah, I asked you for a shit ton of friendlies because Major Ball League was not starting,
And I did all of them.
and you sure did. And you said something to me or after the first one with the Shamrocks, because the Shamrocks owner was like, I don't believe that this sim isn't rigged, so I need to know how it works. And I was like, can you explain how it works? This guy's being kind of difficult. And he was like, yeah, no problem, because you loved talking about it,
Oh yeah,
and you wanted to explain it in
still
detail,
do.
and so you did. I said thank you, screen recorded all of them, sent them to him, and he was like, okay. Because he was like calling it was going to be fake or otherwise, going to drag our name through the mud or whatever. And it was like, I just kind of don't want to deal with that. So I appreciate you talking about it. Because otherwise, Philadelphia Freight Trains would have been the least credible team on the face of the earth. And now they're like, yeah, I don't know, they're dead, but they're fine. Like,
Yeah,
no
they
controversy.
had a good run. They
No,
had
they didn't. No, they were mid. Um, and they're still
popularity
playing.
wise, they had a good run.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because we had good graphics, and
Yeah,
my experience from Italy translated over to Philadelphia Freight Trains. I made all of those graphics, um, and they look great. They look like it was the first team page that had a very uniform theme, and that was kind of uh, revolutionary at the time.
oh yeah,
I mean, I don't want to brag all that much, but I feel like I was one of the pioneers of really high fidelity graphics on Canva being used in the BBL.
which
I
should be
think.
a standard, but not every team, even today, not every team follows that
Well,
standard.
yeah, but a lot of them are children, and I don't blame them for that. But like, it
That is
got people
true.
thinking, like, shoot, we could make really good looking stuff. Just because we're kids doesn't mean we have to, make it look like shit. And people like April 49th has made really good
Oh
graphics
yeah,
because like he's seen, oh shoot, like this is a thing that people can really do well. And I don't like I can make this look like it's an actual sports team kind of thing, and that's really cool. That's the way that the community has trended since I started doing stuff like that.
yeah. Where I got my inspiration from would be probably predictions actually,
Yeah, predictions does have good graphics.
because his graphics are all uniform. You know a predictions post when you see one. And I
True,
love that.
true.
I love that. Also his stories with like the color coding on all his predictions.
Yeah,
To
I
put
like
the
that.
font
That's
in the color of the team he's predicting. I love that.
very pleasing. But with all of my posts, I don't try to make them all like the same. I don't try to make them like feel the same. They all feel very different, even on the different accounts, except maybe freight trains, because those were kind of the same one over and over. But like VBL especially, you can look at
Oh
that and be
yeah.
like, wow, every type of graphic is different, like vastly different. But they're all cohesive and like their color scheme and their fonts and their general feel. Like a VBL post when you see one because it's going to be all purple. Um, but like it's cohesive and that's what I'm going for. It's not the same, like they're all different, but they're cohesive.
This is also what I want to do with the January Association.
Hmm.
But we have one big problem. The first is I don't have that much time. But I
Yeah.
still have to do like a ton of posts for that
Hmm.
thing. So I made presets for every team and signings and extensions of contracts, and because it's very official, like January is very, very official. We have
Right.
a document with all the contracts, with every player's Insta account. They have to agree to the contracts. I make screenshots of everything, so no one can blame me for any shit that happens. Which there was a situation that happened like some days ago, but I won't get into detail for that. But it came in handy. Let's just say that. So proves to me I'm doing something right. And for all the posts, um, I don't have any people running the pages. Like 15 and
Uh-huh.
James are doing the magnetic pages, or the page, which is great. It looks great. It looks really good, and that's what I want. Steamy is not doing that good of a job for the steamrollers, so maybe I want someone for that too, as a page manager
Yeah.
only. And the jackhammers don't even have a team page, which,
It's funny that the less like important the team gets, the better their media is.
yeah, exactly. It's really well. I don't think it's that funny, but it's frustrating because I want it to be like professional and good and
Yeah,
organized,
yeah.
and I do a lot of shit for that. I put in a lot of my personal time, which I could really use throughout my day. But I put it into this because I want it all to be great. I want it all to look great. I want January to be a real thing, because there is a non-BBL type simulation in the brewing, and I know who is creating it, and I will put up a team for January. Which
I think I know
is,
the one you're talking about.
I don't think you do, because only
No, it's not the one
one.
we've discussed.
No, I don't think I don't think I discussed it with you. It's a totally different thing.
Interesting.
It's more in a simulation football kind of thing, but the dude that's organizing it will put a whole ecosystem around it. So your team has an amount of money, can be demoted, promoted, needs to have an active coach and manager, can buy players, trade window. It's basically a game, a social media game, yeah. But I know the guy who's making it, and he takes ideas from.
Is that guy involved with BBL, or is this a separate community?
It's a separate community. He doesn't have a community. But I told him, if you want a community that is committed to these things and is really behind it, go to the BBL. Make all the player states. Yeah, me too. Go to BBL, present your sim, get the people on the Discord, start off with less teams and gradually go more, but make sure you have every single little thing planned out before you release anything. Yes. And he listened to me. And he paid real money to real programmers to make a simulation, and it is really looking promising. And this is like, I want the January Association to be able to go into these projects as well.
Would it be month-based, the teams?
No, but still. Like, I want the January Association to be more than just, all right, there's something month-based, let's go into that.
Yeah. What's interesting, I mean, you just said that, like, you know, you need to have everything, every single aspect of it planned out before you start, before you even announce it.
Yeah.
That was the big thing with the VBL. That, because, like, before VBL and, like, CIFA, the big leagues were SFL. I mean, IO, of course, but IO was, like, already had a name for itself. Yeah. It was, like, SFL. It was, like, SPBL. No, not even. They were afterward. It was like Major Ball League is probably the biggest one I can point to. College Big Ball. I don't know, some of the other awful ones, but like that's like those were the big three at the time. It was like, but aside from IO, it was like SFL, College Big Ball, and Major Ball League, and they were all, I think, announced around the same time. I think SFL was a little earlier. No, Major Ball League was definitely the earliest announced. But SFL was long before College Big Ball, I think. But like only SFL had a plan, even a vague plan going in.
And that's a big problem with the new leagues, yeah.
But like if you look at the success of them, like SFL had some great success before their whole November 8th scandal or whatever, and Major Ball League had no plan, no sim, no anything, and
as did College Big Ball.
Yeah, like SFL had no hype at the beginning and gained a lot of hype because they had a good thing going. Major Ball League had so much hype. It was heralded as the next, actually really the first minor league, because I think it was announced before LBL had even started or been announced. It was like MBL is going to be the minor league, despite being called Major Ball League for for BBL, and it just had no plan. Nothing came about, and then it was like College Big Ball. Everyone's so excited for it. Holy shit! It's the colleges. That's so exciting. People love the college teams. It's like college football, but for
Americans do. I can do anything with it.
Yeah, well, no one cares about you, Mr. Whoever the hell you are.
I mean, I get that most of the audience is American, but like, it's funny to me that every single person in the community was like, "Oh my god, this is it," and every single European was like, "Why the fuck colleges?" Like, what?
Yeah, it was cool because you had people in the community who were college students who were like, let me make a team for my actual school.
Yeah, you're
And I was
talking
one of those
about
people.
you.
And I'm also talking about JC. But like there were a couple people, and it was like, oh yeah, I can make one for Virginia Tech. Yes. Oh yeah. And so that was so cool that I could do that. And then they just kept stringing us along. Like I asked them probably like a couple days in, like, do
Yeah,
you have a sim
you
for
had a
this? Do you
lot
have a
of
plan?
contact with them.
Yeah, I am now known as College Big Ball's biggest hater. Um,
I can get behind that.
and not even because I really hated on them so bad, but mostly because they had no plan. I got
They
frustrated with them,
shot
deleted the
themselves in the
account,
foot before they even started.
rescinded. Yeah, I took Virginia Tech out of the running for it, and they made their comeback like a month ago or something, and were like, now I have a sim. And then he asked Velocity Ball League, who he didn't know was me, and I made Velocity Ball League sort of out of spite of College Big Ball, saying this is what a good league looks like if you have a plan going in. So he asked for that sim, and I was like, no, like no, absolutely not. And so I was like, and I would like if you were more transparent with the community about how much progress you actually have going on, because he shared a screenshot that looked like he was working on one in Unity, but he fully said to me beforehand that he has nothing. And so I was like, if you don't apologize to the community and come clean, I'm going to release all this. And he was like, okay, I will. And then he didn't. And then he said some insult toward April 12th and on his story. And I was like, okay. So I shared all the screenshots, got a big fight in the comments with Xanderball, whoever the hell that is. And he lost everything. I mean,
Yeah,
everything.
that is true.
But like that's the thing. Like SFL had a plan. It had no hype, but it became one of the more hype leagues. VBL came with a lot of hype at the beginning, and I'm very grateful for all the people that pushed it because it was the first. It was the first fan league that had a BBL style sim.
Like, I knew to
And
trust you, so I could also push it.
yeah, and
I
I
knew
had
you had a
enough
plan. I
credibility
asked
going
you.
in.
I also asked you like a lot of things about it.
Yeah, like I had. I mean, I knew that I was going to be doing the bulk of the work. I had May 1st and April 49th as like my co-founders, and I by this point I'd already recruited in. Uh, Actually, Inzinity, he may have come like during the like first couple posts because I know he started off as a fan. Or maybe he started off as like a oh, he must have been a May Monarchs fan or something. And they said something about May fan page, I guess, posted about VBL, like the early sim, the test run, and he was like, "Whoa, that's cool! I want to do stats for that. It's an upcoming league." And so I brought him on board. I was kind of iffy about it at first because he was like a fan. I didn't know what to expect, but he's been awesome. Oh, he like throughout all of season one, he was basically my number two. He was on it. I mean, he only does stats, but like that is more than I could
That's
ask him
such a
to
big
do,
part.
especially
Stats
as a
are
volunteer position like
yeah.
that. Oh my God, I am so grateful for that guy. But yeah, so Infinity was a huge key component for it. Um, but May 1st did kind of nothing. April 49th ran the Sea Hounds and maybe was there for a couple decisions, but overall didn't do a whole lot in the old like VBL organizer shit. So like the entirety of season one was pretty much completely managed by me, and Inzinity is like my right hand man if I need someone to really discuss decisions with. Um, and now that I'm bringing January 15th on to the staff for next season, it should run
It's a good
very
decision.
smoothly because
Yeah.
I trust that guy with like every responsibility in the
Same.
whole league. But I know he doesn't want all the responsibilities, so I gave him one. He was like, "I didn't sign up for this," and I was like,
But
"Yes, you
he's
did. I mentioned it."
like okay,
But
let's talk about January 15th real quick because I have a lot of thoughts on him.
oh
This
yeah, everyone
guy,
does.
this guy is my number 2. There is no debate in who else is my number
Probably
2.
mine too.
Yeah, because he
Like,
is incredibly smart. And you know that.
yeah.
And I know
Oh yeah.
that. And everyone that has ever worked with him or talked to him knows that. But
He's
he
like
makes it seem
overachiever
like
smart.
he fucking isn't. And this pisses me off so much. And you know that I'm talking about you because you will be listening to this episode, you fucker.
Yeah, you will.
Stop being that humble.
Yeah,
And
no, like take a
honestly,
little credit. Like
yeah.
there's a line between taking deserved credit and being a narcissist, and I'm a narcissist, and you are probably also a narcissist, but like you should show that more.
Yeah, talking to you January 15th. You're
Yeah, yeah.
great. He really is great. There he started off as like a big fan of January in season 1. And
Hmm.
I was like, hey, because he, on Discord he was called Band Guy, and I was like, yo, Band, you're the fan.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support. He trusted all the things I did as a coaching before it was big, and I really liked him. Then it was time for us to get new players in. Um,
Hmm.
and I was like, you showed so much trust and loyalty to this franchise. Come on, what's your birthday? Go get in. He was like, yeah, January 15th. I was like, all right, you're in. You're a jackhammer now. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But before that, he, I think, started off in the LBL that was unofficial at that time. Same as
Oh
January
God.
11th. The both of them
The
started at the
unofficial
same time.
LBL.
Yeah, it's a fever
Ah,
dream. Not talk about that. Do not talk about
dude,
that.
throwback to the LBL Roughnecks, man. My
Oh,
first ever
jeez.
signing, the Fort Worth Roughnecks. Good shit.
Yeah, but as 11 and 15, they started out at the same point. Both were fans. I brought them in. Both were an unofficial LBL, which, it was alright. And then before LBL actually started, I promoted them because they were super active in the community, even though they didn't play any games. I think they played one game in ASBL, and
Yeah.
that's it.
I
They won,
it was
so they
I
still
joined
talk about that to this day, like a
I joined
lot.
Trailblazers right after the ASBL team start or the league started, and Trailblazers played 2 games. I think they're the only team that played 2 games. And I was supposed to be in the second lineup, but ASBL, that was around the time that ASBL guy was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So he just didn't add me to the lineup. He was
Oh
like, "It's the same one as
god.
last time, I don't care." So that was how that ended.
Yeah, and then January 15th, I basically, um, I think at first he was a player, and then he showed a lot of interest in the AI. And
Uh-huh.
asked like, yo, Schmaxel, you said you had a lot of ideas about our AIs and have a lot going on. Can you tell me why I fucking suck? And so I did. I told him his AI is incredibly unreactive and slow. He does the right things, but too late, which is. I've never fucking seen this, and I don't even know how this happens. He's still a total
Yeah.
mystery, but it is what it is. Um, so he earned the nickname of the tortoise within the two of us
Yeah.
because he is smart and he knows shit, but he's just so damn fucking slow. So he decided to retire, and I made him coach,
Hmm.
assistant coach, after he was already head coach of the Steamrollers while they were playing, and did a great job. He had good representation throughout the team, made them feel like they're part of something big, which is exactly what I am looking for in a coach. Like this
Yeah.
is the thing I want within the organization as a whole. This is what you need to have to be a coach in January.
For
Um,
sure.
and he also has a lot of ideas and is creative with his game plans and his setups, even though there wasn't even an AI involved yet in LBL. Um,
Hmm.
and then I basically gathered that he had a lot of interest in the AI system too. So I talked to him about it. He had a lot of questions. I answered all of them. And I think week 9 of BBL, season 2, I told him, yo, your AI is shit. We're not gonna play you. It's just not worth it. You won't get a spot. But do you want to help me coach?
Yeah.
And he accepted, which is wise, and I sort of expected him to. But things from there on became pretty fast because he's vice president of the January organization.
And like GM of Jackhammers, head coach of Steamrollers, head coach of
He
Magnetic or
has a
whatever.
lot of positions, yes. But the biggest one is basically like me. He's involved in every team. He makes
Yeah.
decisions for the lineups. He helps me out with trades and scouting. Scouting, actually, that's his specialty. He
Hmm.
has a lot of connections. He talks to a lot of players, new accounts. For example, he brought a lot of our new players that we're gonna use for VBL, for LBL next season. He brought a lot of them in, and I just love that in all of this, he still thinks he has no impact at all to anything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. True.
he's, it's not even humble. He's just, I don't even know.
He's lying.
He's lying to himself. He's
Like
such a
fundamentally,
huge part.
the entirety of the January magnetic is like because of him.
Yes, absolutely, it
I mean, I've
is.
I've seen that all kind of form, and I know that like he's the evil mastermind between everything January magnetic.
Yeah, not even magnetic only. He's
Yeah,
my second in command. He helps me with every single decision.
but like to give you perspective, anyone else who's listening who doesn't maybe know the whole story, who I don't expect there to be many, but you know, January 15th, you you did like the whole you've entirely assembled a third of the entire organization. You have complete control over half of another third, making you essentially half owner of the organization. And then there's steamrollers that I haven't even mentioned that you're the head coach of and have been pretty much leading that entire charge as well. Like, I mean, outside of jackhammers, like January 15 kind of runs the association.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, I do a lot of like organizing stuff because I love to have on one single document every information I could ever need. Because I also need that, and I have a lot going on in real life, so I kind of also
Right.
need that person that helps me with like everything. It's not like as a
Like he
vice
does a
president he
lot.
just like has representative parts or
He's
even
like
that he's coming to steal my position or some shit. No, that's
as
not what it
far as
is.
yeah,
I
as far as
need
vice
the help. I need this guy to help me, and he's. It just so happens that he is also very fucking good at it.
as far as vice presidents go, he is Dick Cheney in how much he does, how involved he is. And I don't know if you get that, but he
I
man,
totally
dude.
don't.
He was George Bush's vice president,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
he was notable for being the most involved vice president of the United States of all time, because he probably maybe actually did more than Bush in that term. It's kind of funny to think about,
Yeah, but
but he's Dick Cheney.
I really think I do a lot for January, but I really also do a lot outside of that, like for the community as a whole, with
Uh-huh.
IO, with a lot of opinions, because people just ask me a lot of stuff because I'm credible, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and also I have like a lot going on in my personal life, which it comes first. For me, it sometimes doesn't, and I know that's a mistake. But still, I try and do everything for this community, even outside of January. Within
Yeah.
January, without him, it wouldn't look like it would, like it does now. Gonna be honest, I wouldn't be
Right.
able to hold up this organization at all on my own. I would not be
For sure.
able to do that, even 1%.
And I got a question. How long have we been recording so far?
About an hour.
Do you think it's time? It's time to do big reveal thing,
Um,
big.
no,
Because I
let's.
mean, like I've got stuff to say about January 15th after big reveal, and big reveal might be helpful for our later plan that you have pulled up on your screen share right now. But let me know if it's time.
No,
It might be.
I'm coming to that, but I actually have another question I want to push before that.
Sure.
Because
Yeah, of course.
we've been talking about January 15th, his way from fan to minor league player to big league player to head coach to vice president, basically. Um,
Hmm.
you went from unnoticed, not playing anywhere, but signed at 100 teams that never played a game, to the league owner.
Yeah.
And you also told me you sort of did it out of spite.
Yeah. No, I mean, totally when I made VBL, it was like immediately after one of College Big Ball's big, I'm gonna do it, but not actually. It was right out of that. I had already been thinking about it for a while, and I know I'd talked to you about maybe starting one once you had your visual sim going. But like, you know, I had been trying to find a sim for maybe like a month prior to it. And then I realized, I used to be part of a Google Doodle Champion Island speedrunning Discord. So if you don't know what Google Doodles are, and you've been living under a rock, they're little drawings that are on the Google homepage when you go to search something up, and sometimes they're interactable games. And I speed ran the Olympics one from 2021, and I became top 3 at my peak. I was third place out of like thousands. So, I mean, it's pretty good. I know all the tech for that
This
game.
is such a
But
weird achievement to have.
hey, I'm still first place for the
Yes,
I'm
still.
still first place for time-based rugby individual level by 2 frames, and I beat Wasiosi by 2 frames.
This
And
is
Wasiosi
so.
is like this Japanese guy who's a complete sweat at the game. He's first place in everything else. I beat him in rugby. I beat him so bad that he gave up trying to beat me. And this is like the best player in the entire community. So, I
This
mean,
is
like, I'm
such a
good.
weird achievement to have, dude.
Hey, rugby time-based GDC IL is kind of crazy. That's a crazy competition there.
It's
And it's
all
not a
other
tied first place
community
either.
you're going for. But hey, maybe someone in BBL community also did this.
Yeah. So anyway, from GDCI, the Champion Island Google Doodle, from that, I actually became a huge member of that community. That was like the first big online community I was really involved with. I was like a big speedrun.com mod. I was like one of the series super mods for a while. But and that's a big series, Google. But I met one of the developers for the Google Doodles who worked at Google and like developed the game that I speedran. And it was this guy, Seltzerfish, um, who is like a huge not huge, but he's like a professional game designer. Obviously, he worked at Google. I don't know if he still does. I don't think he still does, but he's somewhere else now. But he's like successful. He's accomplished. He was like the head guy for developing the like massive, not massive, but like medium size browser game that I played. Like it was a big deal. And everyone knew it. Like it was a very popular Google Doodle. People all over the world knew it. And so I hit him up because I'd become kind of friends with him. I actually uh I helped give feedback for a couple of his later games that he put on itch.io. And so I just hit him up and was like, "Hey, can you design this very specific thing and give me ideas on how I could code it? Because I have no idea how to code." And he was like, "Sure, yeah." And I was like, "You are the best." And so we just did like text chat for like I don't know, like hours into the night, like till 5 a.m. or something. And by the end of that, I had a working sim it was not polished and it didn't have all the features it does now, but it worked. It functioned correctly. And having that was like, wow, this could really happen. So it took like one more 4 a.m. night, and then it was done. Like the rough draft was done. It was finished. And at that point, I just had to add a bunch of like graphics and stuff and tweak a lot of things. And thank God that he taught me everything. I did make like the vast majority of the sim on my own, but I could never have done it without Seltzerfish. Because like those 5 hour calls were like, oh, what if I do this? What if I do this? And him telling me if I'm like right or wrong or completely stupid. It's like, well, this could work for this, that could work, and I started actually learning. Like I was picking up what he was putting down. And so with all that, I was like, well, shit. Within 2 days, I have a sim. I'm the first person in the BBL community, aside from Skrelo, to have a BBL sim. And so that was, well, I mean, other than ASBL. ASBL, of course, had his. But it's like this, like it looks good, it functions good, it does everything I need it to. And then it had a little quirk from the game engine that was the physics that became the velocity of the Velocity Ball League. Um, and like that was just a default mechanic, and I was like, well, can I remove it? And he was like, yeah, you'd have to install a plugin. And I was like, I don't really feel like that. So I just kind of kept it, and it
This
became
is
a
one of
thing.
the smartest things you ever did. Because I
Yeah, yeah.
think to be
If it was,
recognized as an official league, you have to differ in some way. We have AI
yeah.
in the big one. We have the going to the middle in the second division, I'd say, in the LBL. And we have the velocity in the third league. And if there ever wants to be a fourth division, it
It would need
it
something
it would
else.
need something else because the same
Yeah, if it,
thing
if
over and over again, it won't work.
if it had like international open like progression or something, that would be a great gimmick. Something like that where you could see
Yeah,
players improve. That
I'm
would be
working on
awesome.
that.
Yeah, the poke.
I'm working on that,
But
but I need more time because I don't have any time.
yeah, that would be like a really cool differentiation. But it's yeah. So I had something, and I was like, well, now I can just start a league. So within the next like 2 days, um, I uh, I I created the test run. I polished it all up, made the video, posted that video on the newly created VBL account. Was like, hey, everyone, push this account. And this was when I was bigger on my BBL April 12th account. And that like I've the engagement on that account has died off since I started VBL because I've only been focusing on VBL. I get like I used to get like 60 views on my stories on that account. Now I get like 25 or something. Who cares? Who cares, man? VBL is what matters. Now VBL gets like 70 views a story, which is, oh, wow, that's bigger than I've ever been. I was like, hey, everyone in the community. I sent it to everybody that I had any good relationship with. Can you post this to your story, tag Velocity Ball League, say something good about it, and then just everyone did it. And then I think everyone started seeing that everyone else did it and was like, oh, well, maybe I should actually follow it myself. Even though I had told them to push it out to other people. So that got a lot of the big names in there. Like May fan page was a big one. I had already known you by this point, so I already knew that you and like JC were already going to be big names that were going to push it. But like May fan page, I didn't really know him all that well, or like Times I think pushed it, or predictions. I didn't know any of them. So it was like, well, this like people are saying that it's cool. People I don't know in the community are saying that it's a cool thing. And so gained a lot of traction from that. Gained like 100 followers in maybe like 2 days or something. Because it just got so much publicity at the beginning, and I was like, okay, I have the magic that MBL and College Big Ball had, where they had so much hype at the beginning, and what I need to do is, dear God, I need to live up to the expectation. That is like I have all the hype now. I did it. I just need to follow through. And we just finished up season one, and it was great, and it was so good. Everything about it was just so it clicked into place just perfectly. I mean, it took forever, and it was it was a long time to follow through on what I had initially promised, but I was committed to it, and it finished, and everyone had a great time with it.
No, well,
Um,
there was one minor slip up, of course. Uh,
well, there were a couple. I mean, like I maybe messed up a couple lineups.
yeah, no, not that, not that. I'm talking about the roaches.
What about the roaches? What happened?
We
I
got
forget.
eliminated
Oh
instantly
well,
in
yeah,
knockout against
yeah. It's maybe it's just
against
because
who
you
was
fat
it?
suck.
Hawks of all people.
No, Miami.
Miami, fucking Miami.
Yeah, you got beaten by Miami. And then Miami got immediately beaten by the Titans, so it's not even like
And
you all were
then
there.
the
It's
fucking
impressive.
last chance for like ever for this super team of we got the biggest names in all of the community into one
Going
team
against the
as a
Barn
joke.
Owls.
Going against the Barn Owls, I got fucked. Like
And then Barn Owls got eliminated the next round by the next worst team, Spain. Like,
it's
maybe the entire
insane.
regular season and getting first place on that 6 win streak was a complete fluke.
No, it wasn't. It's 15's fault. It's
Yeah,
coach
true it
diff.
is.
It's coach diff.
Totally is. Totally is.
Yeah.
But no, like it just went really well. And predictions actually was the one that suggested doing the knockout bracket for the off season. I was like, yeah, I've got no better ideas, so we did it. I've
Predictions
been talking with
is such a huge part in this community.
Yeah, I've been talking with May fan page too. He suggested a celebrity game where we have like a bunch of big names do it. And I was like, this sounds like an amazing idea. And I had wished you'd suggested it before because I have the entire schedule planned out for the next season and it doesn't fit into that. And I was like, but hey, if you want me to run it and post it on your account or something, totally fine with that. I mean, that was the same thing with the VBL collab with SIFA. It was like, I will totally do this for you and it just doesn't fit into my schedule at all. So I will give it to you to post and then do not collaborate with me. Is like I am fine with getting nothing out of it as long as it doesn't mess up my schedule. Because that's like like I've already promised all the month teams it will start on the 26th. And now I'm committed to making it start on the 26th, and it will not start on the 26th if we have a celebrity game in there because I've already got every post planned out until then. I've actually got them all made until then. Um, I just need to run the Sims. I think I have most of the lineups actually for the first slate of season two. Yeah, I'm only missing a couple. I'm only missing March, October, and November, and August. So that's 4 of 12 that haven't done it yet. So that's kind of nice that I can pretty much get started. But yeah, so it's an interesting thing. Um, the schedule is just kind of my I am at the schedules service, so I can't fit in other stuff in there.
Yeah.
Um,
You want to do the seasons faster because it makes more sense to do them faster, really, which I appreciate. It's a fast-paced community. We've
what do you
seen
mean?
that
What do you
with
mean? Like the two posts a day?
no, actually not. I mean like not 4 weeks of off season.
Oh yeah, I don't like BBL takes big breaks,
Yeah,
and I
I
want
don't
to
like that.
keep I want to keep pumping out content, even if there's nothing to make content about. For the entire first, actually, from the start of the VBL, the first game posted to the present, I have posted twice a day, every single day, and I have it written down here that that has been 69 days. Nice. So that's 100 something, 138. And then I had some at the beginning that weren't part of the entire schedule. So 143 posts total on the account right now. So that, yeah, that adds up. Like I've posted twice a day, every single day since the start of the league, at the exact same times, or not the exact same. Once I got to be able to schedule them at the exact same time, but that's going to change. I'm going to do one post a day for season two, and it's going to be at the 2 p.m. slot rather than the 10 or 3. Um, and I think that'll be a good change, especially for the algorithm. I'm like, let's not lie to ourselves. Part of what I'm focused on with VBL, like it is about the community at the end of the day, but I do also want it to grow into
Which makes
something that
sense.
has some actual social media traction, because like it is a little bit materialistic, but I also want there to be fans for the teams themselves, or else it's just the teams playing. And
Yeah, this is
season
kind of the
one,
problem I have with IO right now. It's just the teams and the players that look at the games. No one else.
yeah, that's what reels do is they have a lot of reach.
Yeah.
So you get fans. But like, like the head coach for August this in season two was a fan. And was a fan that was like, "Hey, can I be involved in the next season?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" And he's cool. I like him. And he is Shredder's strongest soldier. He has seen that team fail over and over, and they're still his favorites. He also likes Titans, I think, but
How
he
comes he
was
doesn't like the
devastated.
Roaches?
Yeah, well, because they suck. No one likes them.
Clearly,
But
from a follower standpoint, we exceed.
but he was a big Shredders guy. He loved the Shredders, and he was so devastated to see him get 3-0'd by Spain, one of the worst teams in the most viewed reel on VBL. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
they got like boned on national television kind of thing.
That one hurt.
It's tough. I feel bad, but
Yeah, they
no,
didn't
he
lose
but like
to Miami though. Or
Titans have had
Barnhouse.
fans kind of throughout the entire season. Like the Titans probably have more fans than any of the other teams that are just random people. Like there were people that were like kind of die hard for Titans,
We
rooting
also
for. I think they were rooting for like September 24th, kind of throughout the entire thing. He was kind of a fan favorite, and I'm kind of disappointed he didn't get any regular season awards. But like the MVB was between March or not March 3rd, November 3rd, September 24th, and Rares, and those were like the top three. And September 24th ended up getting third place. Rares was second, and November 3rd, of course, won the whole thing.
Rez got
But
fucking
September,
robbed there.
no, he didn't. If you look at the stats,
No,
November 3rd
no, no,
was
no, no,
just
no, no,
like,
no, no, no. Not looking at the stats. He
yeah,
got robbed.
just as a person, yeah.
As a person,
Um,
yeah. He deserves something. He
he
is
got something. He
he
got defensive ball of the year.
Yeah, but dude, this man also in BBL, he deserves so much more praise than
He
he's
does.
getting.
He really needed that Coach of the Year win. He was a
Yeah,
he should have gotten it. I mean, as much as I
he
think you
didn't
should
even
have
get
gotten it,
nominated, which
yeah,
is
no, Rares
insane.
deserved it. He deserved it. Yeah,
Speaking
it's
of awards, actually, we can.
oh yeah, you want to should is it time for the thing because that kind of ties into a lot of this, a lot of my opinions on this because I have a lot of opinions about the awards
Yeah,
and a lot of
you
them.
actually do, and we already talked like a little bit about coaching, not too much,
Yeah,
but
so
now
is
that
it
we're at
time
it,
to
you
do
do have a lot of coaching knowledge, don't you?
I do have a lot of coaching knowledge. Thank you, Schmaxel. Is it time to get into it now?
Well, I think it might be April 12th, because
Yeah.
you have something going.
Oh, I've got a lot of things going. So, yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that I'm kind of a big account creator. I mean, people know like the ones that I've made. You know, I made Philadelphia Freight Trains. I made Virginia Tech Team, which that one's now deleted. But I've made some joke accounts too. I've made Cuck Ball or Cuck McSuckins. I was also September 25th when I was in talks with JC about getting signed to the Scorpions, and I was like, cool, BBL opportunity. And then I was talking with 49. He was like, well, we can get you onto April because you are the most active April account. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I that one's now defunct as well. Um, and of course I made VBL, and that's like the biggest account like ever I've made. But there are a couple accounts that people don't know about. There are a couple of funny things that are kind of enigmas. And so like there's some people in the community that like people just kind of don't know how they work. And I think one of those is like TBZ. Of course I'm not TBZ. But it's like, it's like how do they know all this stuff? Or the what was it? The BBL insider who's trying to take over for Here We Go. Like
Oh
how do
yeah,
they know all this stuff?
Here We Go
I
is like the
wasn't
big
BBL
one
insider.
where I randomly like I would say anything to my girlfriend in the kitchen, and Here We Go would have posted about it like
Yeah,
10 minutes
yeah.
ago.
But I mean,
Fucking amazing, Babas!
one of
Shout
the
out to you.
one of the ways that I get information like this, because I have kind of also become one of those people that people are like, how did you get all that information? It's because people forget I'm like Philadelphia Freight Trains, and I'm stalking the Major Ball League chat, and I got in an argument with the Comets, I think, about whether SIFA or VBL was better, because I was glazing myself so hard, but and he just didn't know it was me, but yeah, I'm also January 19th.
It's
That's
just
a
amazing because we have beef with him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so yeah, if you know anything about January 19th, it's that you know that April 12th hates the shit out of him. And that is just
And
because we
that
are the
January
same
19th
person.
is fucking annoying.
Yeah, I literally made January 19th as a joke after I was like, man, there are no active BBL chats anymore. And Schmaxel was like, well, the January one's active. And I was like, I want to see that for myself. And he was like, okay, well, we need a new January 19th, haha. And so I was like, here's a January 19th. And so I joined, and now I'm on the Steamrollers as well, I guess.
Yeah.
As kind
And
of
you
a
would
kind of a
stay there
shit
too.
player.
It's you agreed to the contract like already,
Yeah,
so we
I
can
agreed
say
to the
you will
contract. I'm
stay there
active.
as an
Like
active player. It's fine.
I'm active in those chats. I'm active as January 19th. That's an active account.
Yeah.
Like it's a fully second player account that I run. So that is a second account that I run. And then the big bombshell one, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's time to finally
I'm so
reveal
excited for
this.
this.
And anyone who's made it this far, I guess, deserves to know. And I want to apologize for pulling the wool over a couple people's eyes, and those of you who are still listening, you know who you are. I am Coach Romano of the July Jaguars. I am the head coach of the July team, and I have been for a little while now. Even like I got promoted to assistant coach of April as well at the very end here. And I will be through the playoffs of season one or season two rather. But I will also be assistant coach and BBL player on April throughout all of season three. And the reason that I was able to secure that position as assistant coach is because I was talking with Blossom for a little while about what build I might have for the BBL because I'd already been accepted as a player. And I started impressing him with all this AI knowledge, which of course I mean, I learned it all from January 15th and Schmaxel. They were my two mentors for all of it. But at the time, I was already head coach for the team that they're playing first round of the playoffs. Um, I like that's me that I'm gonna be coaching against is myself. But I was talking with Blossom, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't really know all the AI." And I was like, "Well, April actually has this synergy, that synergy, this synergy, and it all works really well together. And that's because this stat, this stat, this stat, and this stat spread looks great. But it's really not good because the AI training." And it's like I went on and on. He was like, "Wow, you really know your shit." And I was like, "Just trust me on this." I was like, "Just trust me,
Where
man.
did you get this from?
I know what I'm talking about."
Um,
Um, Little did they know they were accepting an award-nominated head coach, onto their assistant
they
coach team.
indeed were,
Um,
and I still stand behind that.
and
You are one of the top three people with ball knowledge in the
and that is
BBL.
only because of you and 15. Um, and it was a little rough of a start because I did not know a whole lot about AI. I knew like the bare minimum when I got the head coach position, but by game like 2 or 3, I was caught up. I am still not as good as you were 15, but I think I might be a solid third place.
Yeah, you definitely are.
49, 49 is maybe third, and I may be fourth. But
Yeah, we had a whole argument today in the active
oh yeah,
coaches chat. And I
oh,
don't know
it wasn't
for
active
what
coaches. It
49
was the
did.
VBL months chat.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I don't really know what 49 and also times really have of knowledge. So I
And
cannot rank them.
that's where Romano comes in. I can say with full confidence, I am the one person in the community that knows every like good coach's ability except for maybe March. Um,
Yeah, but I
like
know that one.
I don't fully know Rares or Bubba. I think they're kind of mysteries to me, but like everyone else, like I know their capabilities. I've talked with it in depth with Times about his capabilities as Romano, and he knows his shit. Like he's pretty good. Now he's not like quite at the same level as I am, because he's not fully able to separate the role play from the strategy of it. So he loves also indulging in the role play part of it, and I think that's holding him back a little bit. But he knows a lot, and 49 knows a lot as well. Maybe a little bit less than me or Times, but what makes him one of the greatest coaches of all time is the fact that he was the first one to really study it. He was one of the early pioneers of the builds, and he made a lot of the top builds that exist now.
Yeah, but still I have to add that like it's my opinion, of course. And I know there is a different opinion on if stats are that important or not. And I say they are kinda important for certain synergies. For example, if you have a player like, and we talked about it, July 30th, um, he's very special. But otherwise, there are players like January 30th or April 1st, which are pretty similar. And you can
Yeah,
see that stats make a difference in terms of the
yeah,
supports of them.
and that's why I was looking at other players that had done well who had similar stat spreads to make my own for April 12th BBL should
Yeah.
season 3 ever happen with AI. Um, and I decided that I wanted to go like full defense, and because in the LBL I saw that my ball was playing pretty defensively overall,
So it makes
and that
sense
was
to
kind of
continue
what
that.
I was known for. Yeah, so I was like, logically that's kind of the route I want to go. And April also needed some defense because right now they're a very heavy offense team,
Oh, yeah, they
but
are.
I decided to go a mixture of March 7th and September 6th, who are some of the best defensive balls in the entire league, and they also have very similar builds.
Yeah, you just
So
have to hope
it was kind
for
of a
that
no-brainer.
your ball or you as a player, um, you have to hope for your AI to
Right.
make the same thing
And
out of
that's
it because there are AIs that want to be aggressive even though they are pretty slow, which it
right.
works. March 31st is the best example that it
Right.
can work,
But
but he
like
also uses his speed, or rather his agility, very differently than,
the
for example,
reason
April 1st.
yeah, the reason I looked at for defense, the reason I looked at September 6th and March 7th rather than July 30th, who is probably I mean, up there with September 6th as the best defensive ball in the league, on the defensive side especially. Uh, the reason I picked March 7th over like July 30th is that you said, like, I agree with you. July 30th is kind of a how did that happen kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas September 6th and March 7th have like almost the same spread.
Yeah.
And it's very clear that that has a higher likelihood of learning a certain way. Whereas like July 17th has the same stat spread as July 30th, or very similar, but July 17th sucks.
But
So it's a less reliable spread.
but I'm just gonna say,
I know that because I've analyzed July to hell, of course, as their head coach. I mean, like I know all of the July players like the back of my
yeah.
hand. I was able to pick out July 17th has roughly the same stat spread as July 30th. Even though I'm not looking at it. In fact, I can tell you their exact stat spreads. July 17th is 20 speed. I want to say 70 dexterity and 30 agility, whereas or sorry, 80 dexterity, 30 agility, whereas July 30th is 30 70 30. So it's a difference of 10 points there, but they're very similar, but they just do not have the same training, and so that makes 30 like all-star level. And back when I didn't know all of this, and I was kind of half guessing, but like educated guess, was the July versus January game, where I was like, well, I don't really have the tools to do a lot here, I don't think. So I am going to expect that they're expecting a certain lineup and then do the opposite of that lineup.
It
So
worked.
I was expecting you guys to plan around. I will be focusing on taking out July 30th because of course you would. So I played July 17th instead of July 30th.
Yeah.
And
That was what broke our neck. When the game came on, I was like, wait,
so
wait, this is
I'm one
way
of
better
the
against us than the normal lineup.
I am one of the few people that's ever outsmarted Schmaxel,
I wouldn't say
intentionally,
outsmart. So
intentionally,
I
and
think we would have won with July 30th too, because
yeah,
it's just too
probably.
good for us
I'm not
to
I'm not
take
I'm not saying it was
care
an
of. Yeah.
amazing decision overall. It was just kind
It
of
was
a
bold, but
it was a thought.
it was bold and
But
it worked out. So good on you. It really worked out
that is
because
the
we didn't
only
expect
play of
that.
the season that was the only game of the season that July 30th didn't play, and I realized that later. That was like, oh, July 30th has played every other game, and I was the only one to ever sit him out. And April 1st, who's another MVB nominee, like played every single game.
Yeah.
March 31st, I think, played every single game. A lot of these top guys are like 11 game, 11 game, 11 game, and then July 30th, 10 games, and he's on top because he's just that good. But like it's pretty funny that
Fun fact:
that worked.
March 31st is third overall on 7 games.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
impressive.
exactly. That
Third
is
overall. No, no,
fucking
no, no, no. He's
impressive.
he's fifth. He's fifth overall.
No,
It
third.
goes no, are
I'm
you
looking at
stupid?
it right now.
Yeah, it's July 30th, April 1st, Feb 7, Sep 6, Mar
No,
31st.
I
What are
don't
you
think.
looking at? Are you looking at a different sheet? Am I looking at
Maybe
an
it's
not updated one?
is it?
I'm looking at the Bubba's sheet. I don't know what you're looking at.
Oh, like the official stat sheet. Wait, let me have a look. Maybe it's not updated because it's been on this
Oh,
tab
maybe Bubba's
for a
isn't
week.
updated.
No, no, it is updated.
Yeah, I guess Bubba's isn't. Either way, still, like March 31st is amazing.
It's
Like really
masterclass.
phenomenal. Um, yeah, he was robbed. We all know he was robbed. There's not a single person who thinks he wasn't robbed. Um,
But we will come to that right now,
yeah,
actually.
let's do it. I mean,
Um,
now you know my credibility going in
yeah,
about who actually like I know this shit. Like
that is
every
correct.
I think it was April 49th glazing me like April 12th as a coach. He was like, "Well, yeah, he learned from Romano." I've told April 20 I've told him before that I'm Romano, and I think he just forgot. But like I know a lot about this.
So maybe you're also a bit biased on many of these votes.
Well, I don't know because a lot of them are both April and July, and you got to keep in mind I was also a September
Yeah.
coach.
Also,
Like,
that's
and I was
a
also a February coach.
that is a
I've got a
question
long
I
record.
will ask going forward. Towards the April game or April July game rather. who are you more like rooting for, or not
Oh,
rooting for,
well,
but putting effort in because you're
look, I want to make it very clear that in that game, I am putting equal effort toward both teams. And if April would like me to sit out of that game to avoid any amount of bias, that's totally fine, totally get it. But I will be putting best foot forward for both teams because that's a big, big game with April 1st versus July 30th. Um, so I really, really, really I mean, I guess between the two, I'm probably rooting for April just because that's my actual birthday month. Um, like I am the head coach of July, and it will make my credibility go way up if I beat April here, because April, I think, probably has the best AI overall in the entire league.
I disagree.
I, it's at least top three. Like,
Yeah, that
I,
it is,
yeah.
but I disagree on the best.
What do you think is the best?
I think July 30th is the best. Well,
Well,
actually, I
yeah.
don't.
I
Actually, I
meant,
don't.
I
No,
meant,
no, no, I don't.
I meant as a full team.
As a full team, like
I mean,
synergy wise, or
maybe October. October is
no,
really
not at
solid.
all. Um, synergy wise, March.
Oh, true. Yeah, of course it's March. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And also, I think the
Um,
best. I will not tell right now what I think is best ball in the league, but it wouldn't be expected because I don't think he's nominated at all for anything
anywhere?
ever.
Yeah, well, that's
Nope,
probably
he's not
because you're
nominated
wrong.
anywhere.
It's probably because you're wrong.
No,
Jan
um,
30th
uh,
Glazer.
no, 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 it's not on January either.
Yeah.
There is
I
a
think I
best
know.
AI, and it's pretty clear why it's the best AI, but I would give too much away if I told that to anyone.
I think I know who you're talking about. I think.
We'll talk about that after camera stops rolling.
Surely, surely. All right, yeah. Well, let's go into now that we've established credibility and the fact that I'm rooting for April, but we'll put equal effort toward both. Let's go into the next segment that you have.
Yeah, the awards. We're gonna have a look at the awards and basically see if they're credible for our purpose.
Oh yeah, and to anyone who's watching, I did vote on all of these. For some reason, I was put on in the chats for BBL award voting as Velocity Ball League. Was like, hey, that's a person who should vote on this. And there were a couple other people like Hoopland too, and Jamal I think was in there as well. But it's like it was a little bit of a ragtag crew. But I was one of the voters. I disagree with a couple of these decisions that ended up happening. And I know that Romano was nominated for Coach of the Year, but let it be known I voted for Schmaxel. Um, and also there was the tiebreaker. Romano did end up getting third. It was between Belichick and Schmaxel. And of course, they called in Romano as the tiebreaker vote, and I was like, sweet, I just get two votes. I don't know what to tell you. So Schmaxel ended up winning off of a tie because I had two votes because
Yeah,
nobody
basically,
knew.
basically, yeah.
Um, but he deserved it, I think.
Thank you very much. We'll come to that. Coaches want to start here, which will be
Yeah, I mean,
interesting
yeah, yeah,
to look at.
yeah,
But for now, MVP. Who's your pick and why? We know the actual winners July 30th.
yeah. hmm I like there. Yeah, I mean, like there's a strong case for April 1st. Of course, it's a very tight race between April 1st and July 30th. I think in public opinion, March 31st is a slept-on choice, of course, because he had so few games and still did so well. But I agree with the final result here. I think July 30th is just the MVP, at least of these three. Um, that, actually, you might have someone else in mind, but I think that he is probably the best in the league. Now, granted, July has a terrible team outside of 30. He has, like, we have 21 and 30, and everyone else is really just getting in the way.
Yeah, that is true.
Um,
That
so
is
it's a
true.
very delicate balance, and every game I have to pick the person who I think maybe will get in the way the least, and usually that ends up being someone extremely passive. Like I think I've picked 14 a number of times, or six. Six actually is really awful, but I've picked him a couple of times. Like 6 is good, but like really bad with 21 and
Yeah,
30.
it's the
Um,
synergy that's a problem, and that's
yeah,
also what we are talking about going forward because
yeah,
huge
he's a very
synergy
opportunistic
guys
guy.
over here.
Yeah,
That's what
but
matters.
yeah, 21 and 30 is like the power duo.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
everything else is like I like 19 actually might be really good because as a third player because what he does well is get KO'd extremely early on. And that like I've told him he's a glass cannon, and I think that is the most astute way to describe him. He is all offense and otherwise will get KO'd in 3 seconds. And that works really well for 20 and 21 and 30 because he either gets a KO and helps them out or leaves and lets them do their thing. So that is kind of my best player for a third guy right now.
He's
It's
also
just
your
because he
fastest player, right?
right, because like he'll
60
leave
speed.
quickly.
Yeah.
Like I want him to either do something or not get in the way, and 19 is really good at doing both of those things, or at least one of those two things. And either way, both help in the long run. But anyone but 17, 17 is really the worst in here. 14 is also really bad, but I think 19 is kind of the golden third player because he just sucks that bad, but like in a good way.
Yeah, I think for MVB, July 30th is great because he can solo carry games on his own. He
Yeah,
doesn't need
like
help really. He's defensive, he's
he is a
aggressive, has
team.
the chaser gene in him from an AI statement, which means once he's on one target, he will pursue it, even though he's slow. And that's the how the fuck did this happen?
I mean, he is
He's
on his
slow.
own. He has
He's
beaten
not fast.
multiple entire teams.
That's like insane to me. He is 30 speed. He shouldn't be able to keep up, but the way he uses his agility and also his high
Dex.
dexterity
Yeah.
makes it work somehow because he
He's
just
just able to get
reads the
right
map.
back in there.
Yeah.
He's really good.
And this
He's
is
really good.
really fucking rare. April 1st, classic chaser. This is
Hmm.
the most classic chaser and also the best one in the league. March
I mean, if
31st
you
also
yeah
wants to be a chaser, but he I think he's the best aggressive support ever to exist.
yeah like April 1st is great. You will never win a 1v1 against April 1st. I feel like,
You
but
can. There is a clear way to counter chasers, but
right, but you need to run something kind of off meta
and it
in
has
order
to
to do it.
survive until the end,
Right. But like
which is the
March
hard part.
31st, I think the thing that really kicks him out of the MVP nomination for me is that he does need a partner to do exceptionally well. Whereas April 1st, July 30th
Exactly. This
don't
is exactly
necessarily.
my reasoning. And the thing with April 1st is he's a chaser, he can be countered. July
Hmm.
30th, I don't see that.
Hmm.
I cannot see, or like, I can see ways to counter him, obviously, in the sense that more chaos in the game is bad
Right.
for him. So you
Hmm.
beat
But
him either early or you don't.
yeah, he does worse into high speed,
Yeah.
like chaos. But you need multiple balls thinking of countering July 30th in order to successfully counter him.
And with that,
Um,
you count out July 21st,
right, who's
which is also
excellent otherwise.
pretty aggressive, which
But
July 30th
like
really excels of.
July 21st is unfortunately just living in 30's shadow. I mean, like July 21st
Yeah,
is really
that is
good.
true.
And I think there is better support for July 30th than July 21st, and
Definitely.
especially March 7th, who I tried so hard to get. But Rares is also really smart, and I underestimated that, unfortunately. But yeah, so July 30th, July 21st, that's a power duo right there. But March 7th would be a better support, whatever. But I am happy with that duo there. That is a good duo.
Yeah. And that's what you should build around.
But 30 does well without it, which is what differentiates him from 31. March 31.
Yeah, exactly. I think March 31st would definitely excel of a fast player in his team.
For
Because
sure.
then he would have a backdrop to finally get to play his chaser style and not
Yeah.
the more supportive style, which would really suit him, I think.
Yeah.
But
So maybe March 7th is holding him back. I mean, who knows?
not really. I think these two and one very fast guy, or March 31st and a very smart and very specific fast AI would be even better to facilitate the smart fast AI.
You're thinking someone like maybe January 27th kind of thing?
Exactly that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Because January 27th is another one of these very, very specific AIs, just like July 30th and March 31st, which I just cannot put in some category like chaser or defensive support or something, or aggressive support, because they just work
Yeah.
totally different than any other ball in the league, and there is no one else
Kind of,
that uses
yeah,
his stats like that.
kind of a fluke off of training.
He's just
Uh,
he uses his speed to stun as many targets as possible, and tries to use his agility in a very, very small way to sort of knock them in the direction of the
I will
exit,
say
but
though,
not really going for direct KOs on that. He's a
I
hit
will
and
say
run.
for
That's what I call hit and
for
run.
for season 3, if there's AI again and it works the same way, I think some of the players to watch out for are going to be like January 27th. I think September 7th as well. I think he's going to kind of have a dark horse comeback there. And then I also kind of think uh, I'm blanking. Hold on. Let me take a look again. I think I think April 30th is kind of gonna do well. Well, actually, hold on. No, he's getting demoted. I forgot about that. Who else?
I have
July
a pick for
21st.
that.
July 21st is the slept-on choice that's gonna do extremely well next season. Um, I mean, like he's already done extremely well. Just people haven't noticed it, and I think people are going to notice it more next season. Is like he's already doing
Yeah,
extraordinary numbers. But
that is true.
I
I
mean,
also have
he's actually the bottom of those three, but he's going to do great.
I also like from trades. Obviously, I'm gonna not gonna name them because I'm still team owner and coach, and I have some responsibility to keep stuff secret, and I will because um, I would love for my ideas of the game, which are pretty advanced in some fields, to remain to me and only me. Which
Yeah,
is why I will hold back on it. But there are supports I've got my hands on and made questionable trades.
yeah, you sure
Um,
did. One of them was with one of my teams.
that is true. And it was pretty questionable from a worth perspective.
I really think that you're overanalyzing that one. I think that will end up being a very beneficial trade for January.
I also think so. Um, just because
I
of
mean, it's
the
going to be
way.
great for April. I think it's going to be fantastic. Or, oh, I guess I said it, but
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine.
I think it's going to be great for April. I think
I think
it
the
works
deal is
out.
set. I guess we can just
Yeah.
also say like January 27th. I just don't know what to make of him because he's that special. And
And
I personally think
you're building around a different player anyway.
I am building around 30, and 30 and 27 will not work together at all. And this is because of one flaw that 30 has that 27 permanently keeps triggering, which is that January 30th always moves towards the exit and not away.
Hmm.
It's his only flaw. The only flaw in his AI, the only thing keeping him off MVP nominations and all that. But this can be solved, just not with January 27th, who uses his teammates sometimes to bump off of them because of his high speed to
Hmm.
recalibrate himself to do the hit and run thing again. But if
Yeah,
that
and
happens
I
and
think
January 30th moves towards the exit, which April 1st doesn't, by the way, which is why I also said to them, you will benefit more from this trade than I would from keeping him. Um, because I don't make trades that leave any
right.
team worse off. I just don't do that. It's not within my intention. Even though, Baba's talking about you, even though some people accuse me of that. But I get it. I totally get it.
But
I'm
what
not mad.
April, I think what you're underestimating about April is that like yeah, not moving toward the exit is a great way to help 27 do well. But like you mentioned that he bounces off some of his teammates sometimes, which could result in TKOs. Um,
Not really,
to
because he does it in a way that only stunts them diagonally to the exit for
Right,
most
but
parts.
either way, like it's a stun, and that puts
Yeah,
that ball in a worse
absolutely.
position.
Absolutely.
It works well with high decks. And that is what April is going to be heading toward with their BBL promotions with April 11th and April 12th, myself, that are getting promoted up from LBL. We're going to give both of them like juggernaut defense builds so that we at least have two roles to have a fantastic defense. And if one of them doesn't end up working out well, we have a second one that could. And so we have two chances to get an all-star level defense, and that's what we're aiming toward, and that would work really well with especially January 27th, but also to a certain extent April 1st. So it's things are working well there, I think, to be able to have multiple different kinds of lineups that can support each other. Not to
And
mention the
that's
fact
what you
that
have to
April
go
1st
for.
and January 27th do well together anyway. So April's got a lot of good things going, I think. And it's got, two extra slots that we can just do whatever the hell we want with. Like, I mean, we're set.
Yeah,
We're,
but you
that
need them
we're
anyways, so you have a better chance at getting a good defensive ball.
right, but we're April's gonna be a team to watch next season.
Absolutely. They have everything they need with April 1st.
And now they have extremely strong coaching with both me and 49 on the same staff.
That's
I
true.
mean,
That's true. But I think that January 27th, as much as and you know that, and as much as I would love to keep him,
mhm,
absolutely fucking love to keep him, I cannot make him work with January 30th. It will not be
right.
possible, and we will play around Jan 30 because he is just better. And I also have a second trade with a kind of mid player, but we
Yeah.
just need it to facilitate 30 in a way that is better for him and also his teammates, so he doesn't get as much TKOs
I
and
wouldn't
also
I
doesn't
wouldn't
get stunned.
call I wouldn't call your player that you're getting a mid player necessarily, but they're like a
In terms of
solid
trading,
player. They're
if
fine.
we look at
Oh, well, I mean value, yeah,
yeah,
you're not getting your money's worth, but you know,
no, I'm talking
probably
about
like
the
top
other trade I'm
50%.
doing, not the April trade.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, all right.
And it's a good player, but it's not exceptional by any means.
Yeah, like in other lineups, um, probably wouldn't start every game.
I mean, he had a solid season looking at it right now. I mean, like that's really
It
not
is solid,
too bad.
and also who
But
we are
like
trading
he's
for.
not even close to the best on his team though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
So he's kind of overshadowed.
yeah, that is true. And also who we are trading for, it's kind of the same. From an AI perspective, like on my scale, they both have a round 80-ish score or a bit lower 75-ish score, which is it's decent.
Hmm.
You can make it work, but it really depends on the team. And I made sure that this is the case for both of these trades I have planned.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think it will work. And we also do get 3 new AIs, which is huge.
Yeah.
I just hope for a good defensive support. Please, just give me a good defensive support. I need it desperately.
Well, hey, maybe you should just do a bunch of promotions. Pull in April, do a couple promotions to have multiple roles toward defensive support.
I have some things planned. Starboy coming in January 14th. Oh
Oh yeah,
god,
dude, he's killing the LBL. He's
this
like
one.
second in the entire league or something, right behind September 5th or something.
No, he's first. I
He's
think
first. I thought September 5th was first by player
maybe
score.
by player score, yeah, because September 5th has like 10 rebounds.
Yeah, he's a very
Kinda
defensive
kinda
guy.
inflational.
Yeah, a little bit, but he's
But
still
January
first.
14th, like, oh my god, I'm so in love
It was
with the
funny seeing
guy.
how low like November 22nd is, because what I
Yeah.
noticed as Romano when I was an LBL Seagulls coach as Romano, I noticed that really like November 23rd is also pulling a lot of that weight, and a lot of the glory goes to 22nd,
Mhm.
but 23rd was my guy to watch. Um, I think 23rd actually could be the best November Bobcat. Um, but unfortunately 22nd gets all the fame and glory. and 23rd being I think like I don't know somewhere top 10 in the entire league as well. It's not getting it. But I was surprised at how well April 12th ended up doing in the LBL. I mean, of course, April 11th was better on the puppies overall, but like I was second on the puppies. I was fifth in the hot conference. I was
Yeah,
15th in the entire league. Like I
that's
was
good.
expecting myself to have a terrible season. It was cool to just see my ball on there. I did pretty well. I had a
You
solid
did, you
season.
did,
I mean,
and that's
that's
good to see.
15th out of like 6 times 12, 15th out of 72. That's good. Like that's really good. I mean, looking at this sheet right now, I'd be about on par with looks like um September 7th is about I think 15th in the league on the
Well, now
Bubba
you're
sheet.
drawing the comparisons to some big
No,
names.
I know, but like I am the same level as September 7th in the league below. It's like that like he's good this season. People are really not thinking he's that good this
Yeah,
season. He's
but he
good
is.
this season. That's why he's one of my players to watch, is because he really is good. I mean, he doesn't work
They just need
amazing
to
amazing on
facilitate
September.
around him, and he will be even better. But I'm not
Right.
telling him this.
If you build, that's why I think September needs to trade away September 7th, even though I know that'll never happen, is that you need to build around him in mind, and then you have a killer team. Like if you're able to get some good support for him, like I remember from the September chats, they're all saying September 7th is the support for September 6th offense, and I think all of that is stupid. First of all, September 6th is an offense; he's defense. Second of all, September 7th can be support and isn't supporting September 6th, but it's probably just better off as like a kind of defense offense option anyway. I don't know if he really does support as well, but he like there is a lot to build around with September 7th, and on any other team that knows how to use him better and isn't just sticking him with 6 and 24, who are probably actually better than him on September, um, who actually work together kind of well as a defensive core. If you put him on
Yeah,
another team that knows how to build around him, holy shit, dude!
I
Like
wouldn't
that is.
I wouldn't even facilitate him in offense. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, like, but
I
he
have
is.
other plans for him. But
I think
clearly
he
it's
is
not out
mostly
there. So
defense. And I think most of September is a very defense-oriented team, and most of July is too.
yeah, that is their
Um,
problem. I have no
yeah, I
offense.
mean, July is kind of a one-trick pony, but unfortunately, that one trick is extremely fucking good. Is
Yep.
that we're all defense. July 30th is the best defense, and July 21st is also pretty defensive, but supporting July 30th well.
At
And then we
21st,
have or 21st rather. I don't know who the hell I
he's
said.
pretty aggressive. I'd say aggressive support. That's what I
I
would
would still
categorize him.
categorize him. I know he's
But
aggressive,
his
but I wouldn't
supportive
categorize him as
kind makes it
offense by
seem
any way.
defensive. I know what you mean,
Yeah,
but I
he's
would say
he's
he has
supporting
offensive too.
defense, and I think that like it's those two are still a defensive backbone overall. Um, and so the way I use him with 30 makes him kind of more defense support. But I mean, if you look at any of the other July players other than 19, like the other three, like six, maybe six a little less. Six is a weird case, but like 17, 14, those are both defense. We've got a lot of
Yeah,
defense on July. Um,
but you don't. You
and
just don't need
right,
it.
I mean,
You just don't
like
need it.
a lot of the teams are really heavily defense, and defense is really, really good in BBL. Like it is probably the best archetype. But April is extremely offensive and is kind of one of the only teams like that, which is always interesting to take a look at.
And in all
But
of
speaking of
this,
April,
yeah,
we can
but
move
in
to
all
our
of this
next.
talk, honestly, I just cannot get around the fact that March is doing how they do. It's unbelievable. In all of this, you can categorize every team but March, and I
March
love
has the
that.
perfect storm. They
I
have a
love that so much.
well-balanced team that is probably the best in the league.
They also
That
had the
has
worst ball in the league.
true, but they also have really, really good coaching. Like,
Yes, and that
and
is what I've been saying all season.
I
Everyone is
severely
sleeping on
underestimated.
fucking
I
rares.
severely underestimated Rares. He is a
Everyone did.
phenomenal coach. And Bubba's supporting him with the more like what actually happened versus the more BBL coaching side with all the AI and stuff, which is a little bit more theoretical. Whereas Bubba's is more grounded. Like that duo is scary. They are a scary coaching duo.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying July 30th is just too unpredictable to match against. And that's why July will, in 50% or like 55% of all cases, win it all. But if they don't, then it's because they lose to March, and then March will win it all. There is no other way, I think.
March is a really strong
I
team.
mean, teams could always get lucky, which it might happen, sure, but
Right, but
realistically,
look, I'm not gonna lie. I think September is gonna beat February. I think February is gonna fall off bad. They already kind
they
of
have
have.
a possible lineup for that. It just depends if they play, and I will also not tell what it is
I
because
look. I know who's coach in February. I know that Rocky is probably gonna make the wrong decision. No offense to Rocky, but
yeah, me too.
unfortunately, he's not a very AI focused
Yeah,
coach. Whereas September is not the most AI fluent team as a whole, but they do have times.
they do have
And
times and they do have players they can facilitate, especially
well,
against
February does
February.
too. I mean, February has good
Less
players, but
so, less so,
I
I'd
think
say.
what Times might struggle with is that he's more focused on what lineups do well overall rather than what matches up specifically into this team, which is why September has played 6, 7, 24 every game since like game 3.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
And that is the biggest downfall of
Not saying you
Time.
should play 8. Please don't. Times,
No, please.
please don't,
No, please.
never put 8 in the
Well, like
lineup again.
there's a 30 or a 13 sitting there and they could be used for something.
Yeah,
Like they have scenarios where they're useful.
but it heavily depends on February too.
I mean, let's not lie to ourselves. 6, 7, 24 is their best lineup right now.
Yeah, of
But
course it is, but so was our
it
lineup
doesn't
against
match.
them.
Yeah,
But
it doesn't match everything.
yeah, and I think before saying too much, but September can make it far, but
For sure.
I just don't think they could do anything
Yeah,
against
I
either
think
March, April, or July.
yeah, they could beat August though. Um I think that's the one in the hot conference where it's like, yeah, they really stand a solid chance. Now that I will say the cold conference team that I'm actually pretty worried about is October. Um
Why?
I think you're really underestimating their AI. They do have some good synergies there,
They
especially
do
on the
have some good
reserve.
synergies and they do have some good players, but I just don't see them doing anything against the teams I just mentioned.
I I disagree. I think specifically 3 and 18 are a scary duo. 25 is good
No,
on his own.
no. I
Okay,
heavily
well,
disagree.
seems
31st
like we
is.
have
Yeah, we have
differing
different. This is exciting. This is actually really, really fucking exciting because coming to offensive ball of the year, what the fuck is October 25th doing up there?
Oh, what the hell is July 30th doing there?
No, I get that totally because
No.
he's
Yeah.
so damn weird that his offensiveness is kind of just a side thing, a side dish to be served, which is I love that. This is perfect for a
Yeah,
player.
no.
But
But
I
I agree
think
with you. What is 25
pure
doing there? It yeah.
pure aggression, like pure offensive being, October 31st is so much better. Like
True.
hell, March
True.
31st is so much better.
I mean, I think the problem with
February
these
29th
nominees.
is so much better. There is
Yeah, I
just
think
a
I think
lot
I
wrong
think
there.
February 29th would have been the one that I wanted to replace him with. But I think the unfortunate thing is they picked the nominees based on Bubba's stats, which July 30th has 11 KOs, April 1st has 11 KOs, and October 25th does come in third with 9. But then you got February 29th and May 4th right behind with 8, and it's like they've also played like significantly less games. October 25th has played 10 games, 29th has played 7, and get this, May 4th has played 6. 6 games, 8 KOs. Like
That's
that's
insane.
incredible.
That's
But
insane.
I still would pick February 29th over May 4th
Yeah,
right
me
now. But
too. Me too.
May 4th is a solid option here as well. But
Yeah,
October
absolutely.
25th, like 10 games with 9 KOs, like that's
But
okay,
I
I
think
guess.
like offensive
Like
ball
July
of the
July
year.
30th, July 30th played 10 games over the 11 games, and I know Bubba's here says 11, but that's also one game behind. And I know he got 3 KOs in the last game. So that's 14 KOs over 10 games, which
Also,
I can see now why that deserves to be on there.
like the thing is with the MVP, it's like overall ball. Yeah, all right, I'll
Right.
go with
And
that.
that's
But
July 30th.
offensive, I'm thinking one trick ponies, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Just like the best in their field, but maybe they can't do anything else.
Right.
And that's why I'm gonna go with April 1st here.
Wholly agree with you. I don't think there is a better strictly offensive ball in the entire league than April 1st.
I
I mean, of
agree.
course,
Yeah, I agree.
like you can say all you want. Yes, technically July 14th has more KOs overall and has less games, therefore does have more of an offensive presence than April 1st. But July 30th is not an offensive ball at its core. April 1st absolutely is, and April 1st is the like pinnacle of offense
Exactly.
strategy.
That's also what I am thinking. And July 30th is just too good at defense to be rated offensive ball of the year, which
You
is
cannot
sad.
convince me otherwise that July 30th is anything but defense. Anything but like it's not strictly defense, but it is a defensive player.
It is. No, he's a weird player.
Okay,
That's
well,
what
you
it
know,
is. I think,
maybe
yeah.
you just
I
need
have
to
a different
broaden
read.
your horizons a little bit. Okay,
No, I have a very
maybe
different
you didn't
idea of
deserve
him.
Coach of the Year. Actually, maybe you just don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're guessing and just sounding
Well,
smart.
maybe I don't, but maybe I also am just a few levels above you.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Okay.
I love this friendly banter, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think July 30th is just so incredibly unique that he's so hard to categorize. Because with
Yeah.
April 1st, you have like other players. Prime example being January 30th. I think he's on second place in the chaser scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what makes them comparable to one another and categorizable. But January 27th, July 30th, March 31st, March 7th. I guess
Yeah,
March
and
7th you can take him out there because he's clearly a support, but March 31st. These are
I mean,
balls that do good offensively, but are really not categorizable. And I love playing around with them, like to figure out ways to make them work, but it's hard for a lot of them.
that's true. But you like circling back to October 25th as a candidate for this, you're right that he's not the best offensive choice even on
Not
October.
at all.
October 31st absolutely
Yeah.
is. Yeah, you look at
Because October
first of all,
31st is a good chaser. He's
yeah,
like,
that, and if you look strictly at Bubba's stats, which I know all of this was based off of, 25th has 9 KOs. Sure, that's more than 31st. Over 10 games, 31st has 6 KOs over 6 games. That's a better ratio there. And if you take a
less
look at it,
fallout.
I know this is going a little bit better, a little bit more into less fallouts. That's what I was going to mention. It goes more into defensive territory, but staying power has a lot to do with offense. And 7 fallouts for May 20 or October 25th over 10 games, whereas October 31st has 3 over 6 games. Like October 31st has some staying power,
Yeah.
whereas October 25th is pretty glass cannon if he's offense.
That's why I also
And
think. Oh, yeah, go on.
yeah, October 31st is a clear choice from October, but even then, still should have been February 29th.
I heavily agree on this. And I also think that December 31st would have been a valid pick. I wouldn't have raised an eyebrow on that. Which a lot of people will disagree, but I stand strong to it. And also, the reason why January 30th is not up there is because of his single flaw.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason, because he has 8 fallouts. And
he didn't
10
have the
games.
opportunity to stay in long enough, and that's where the staying power
Absolutely.
really does have to do with offense.
But you have to
you
say,
don't get the opportunity to be offensive unless you have staying power.
and you have to say, he has 3 saves, which is third most in all of the league. He has 3 rebounds, which is also alright. He has 1.5 clutch points, which is amazing to look at from a player in a team that didn't do well. But it's the 8 fallouts. And also maybe 3 TKOs, not good at all. But October 25th also had 3 team KOs. And I have to say that for 2 of the 3 team KOs of January 30th, that happened in one game, by the way. It was the August game. January 8th was responsible for this.
Ooh, January 8th. Everyone get him off the stage. He sucks.
Yeah, sadly. He's going to be demoted because we don't want to get rid of him at all.
All of January sucks, let's be real. Like, it's kind of a shithole over there right now.
In terms of AI, yeah.
Together. Yeah.
In terms of AI,
in the January stats, like, man, that's a lot of fun, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially 31st, he's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, I fucking love him.
Especially on my account where January 19th kind of matches his energy. It's a lot of fun.
And 30 coming in doesn't help. Let's be honest. Like, he's great. I love many people we have on this organization as persons, really. And that's why I want to go for activity. And because January right now, it is a place of people that like each other.
For sure.
And it should stay that way. And I'm trying to find a way with my very analytical approach of the AI to still make that work.
Yeah.
That's why I put a lot of effort into maintaining our players' contracts so they know they are valued. Which helps. You can see it helps. We have a 95% activity rate on all players we have and coaches.
Anyway, defense all of the year. Defense.
You're moving on. Yeah, I'm yapping. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about defense. That's what BBL is all about. I mean, defensive ball of the year, like July 30th is a big candidate for it because defensive ball of the year I think is kind of more closely tied into MVB because like defense is just so overwhelmingly good in BBL.
I think I sort of disagree. I mean, it's very important.
You're entitled to your opinion, even if it's wrong.
I mean, I do get what you mean, and defense is a big point, but everything else is too. But I have to say, you can win games only with defense, just not against teams with better defense or better supports. It's like rock, paper, scissors on that. So only defensive will not bring you anywhere.
Right, yeah. Anyway. defense ball, I think it's a little bit harder to measure since there isn't like one stat that you're looking at. Like offense ball, you're going to be looking at KOs, or clutch ball, you're going to be looking at clutch points. Defense ball, you have both saves and rebounds and fallouts and also kind of clutch points. Like there's a lot to look at here. It's a very, very interesting thing to measure.
One thing I'm asking myself, what the actual flippity flobbing fuck is May 28th?
I know. There? Yeah, I know. If you look at the Bubba's stats, he's got 3 saves, 6 rebounds, and like that's really good compared to the other Bubba's guys. But like, no, yeah, like what is he doing here?
What the fuck is he doing there? 7 fallouts, and also like the way his AI works. I'm just looking at the AI. He's not defense.
I think they look strictly at save and rebound.
Yeah, which no, even then, no.
Which is it's tough. Yeah, it's
March 31st would have been my winner on here.
Oh my god, yeah. 1 fallout? Or is it 2?
1 fallout in 7 games.
Like, come on.
You don't need saves and rebounds for that. Like, the fact that he has 0 saves and 1 rebound on 1 fallout and 7 games makes it even more impressive.
I think even February 7th could have a case to be nominated. I don't think he should be, but I think he's probably up there in top, like, 7-ish. Okay, stop me, alright?
Yeah, I disagree.
Look, man, he's got very few fallouts as well over a large number
looking
of games.
at stats, I agree, but looking at AI, I disagree. Let's
Okay,
put it like
well,
that.
Joe Mama. So either way, I mean, I think we can both pretty realistically agree that March 31st does belong here. Probably as that third candidate.
As the
Uh,
winner, in my case.
yeah, I honestly probably agree with that. I think September 6th was a little bit of a weak pick,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, September 6th is probably about even defensively with July 30th in my own mind. Maybe not as a
I
one-trick
would
pony,
agree
but
with
as like
that.
doing it
Yeah.
well. But like 31st does blow them both out of the water strictly defensively.
Yeah.
And this is another thing March 31st was totally robbed from is defense ball of the year. I agree with you that March 31st is not a clear winner here, but surely my winner for it.
Yeah.
But we have three choices. March 31st is none of them.
Yeah.
So from here, like it's a toss up between 6 and 30, I think.
Yeah, but I'm going with 30.
I
I
think
left him out of
here.
offensive because he's too defensive. I could say the same here, but the
Yeah,
nominees just don't give it.
you were just saying the same like these. No, he's not defense. He's not.
He's
Just shut the
yeah.
fuck up,
No,
dude.
no, listen.
You're waffling,
He's
dude. You don't know what
MVP.
the hell you're
He's
talking
the
about.
overall best ball in the BBL, in my
Yeah, you
opinion.
just said he wasn't
You
defense,
know,
so don't even with me.
but he's not defensive nor offensive enough to.
Oh, but he's a defense baller here. He's the best defense. He's defense. Come on.
Well, I mean,
No,
this
no, no,
is.
no, no.
Oh,
No, no, no. That's not what
oh,
I said.
oh,
I agree with the winner of September 6th.
Coach
I think
Romano.
I think September 6th. No, no, no. I agree with you that July 30th is the best at everything. But July 30th is like a jack of all trades, master of none, although it's kind of the master of all. But it's like not the best at any of these, but would be my second pick of any of these nominees on both defense and offense. But September
Yeah,
6th, I like
I
whoa.
agree with that statement. By the way, this is I can totally agree that he's second in both of these categories.
No,
I
I
just
think I
think
think
one trick ponies really come first in these categories. That's my thinking.
yeah, and September 6th is a one-trick pony. It's a
He is, but March 31st is better, and July
no,
30.
we're not talking about March
Yeah, yeah, I
31st.
know, I know, I know, I know. And July 30th is also just better, just looking at his defensive potential. Because I track
Yeah.
AI in 27 different categories, and
God, oh
offensive
my God.
I have offensive, defensive, reactive, responsive, and proactive categories.
You are a nerd.
Yeah, I am. In case you didn't
You
notice, yeah, I
are
am.
a nerd.
And
Holy
looking at the
shit.
defensive one, he is very fucking good there.
Okay, El Bozo, I still think September 6th better.
That's all right. I
Um,
can get behind that.
very, very slightly, but still better. And I know it's not truly apparent through his fallouts because he's got a number of fallouts that is
That's
a
not his
lot
fault.
higher than 30. No, it isn't. He's not really supported well. But he does have insane 5 saves over. Well, it might be different now because this is off the Bubba sheet. 5 saves over 9 games. 3 rebounds over 9 games. None of the other. I mean, the only one who does come close is July 30th with 3 saves and 7 rebounds over 9 games. But like saves are tough, especially with the AI.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
I agree
like you
with
you
that.
see you see you see saves all the time in like LBL and BBL season one. Like they are easy to find, but with AI, dude, saves are rare.
Hmm.
Like I think saves are a thing to look at for defensive ball of the year. And if March 31st didn't have so few fallouts, September 6th would be my choice even over him. Because saves like that is a defense and a half stat right there. So I think September 6th is the best defense in the entire league, aside from March 31st probably, uh, because it is so strictly defense. And what September 6th does in defense is insanity there. July 30th
That's
is
true.
also insanity with defense. Don't get me wrong, but September 6th, like it edges it out with those really, really rare to find defensive maneuvers. So, and especially on a team that doesn't support him that well, like I mean, getting saves over and over, like a lot of those are probably TKO saves.
Yeah,
So it's a lot to think about there, and he's still an all-star despite being TKO'd a lot or having a lot of offensive pressure from his own team. He's still an all-star, and that speaks volumes to his defense.
absolutely. I 100% agree on that. Yeah, I fully agree. Nothing to add. It's a good take, win take for once from you.
Shut the hell up. Rookie of the year. Rookie of the year. This is a contentious one.
Yeah, this is also
February 7th was the big winner. And February 7th got super mid like halfway through the season.
February 7th had 2 games where he really excelled, but I'm gonna say this, and only this to him. He's one of the most selfish AIs I have
Yeah.
ever seen in any game.
He feels like when he plays, he feels like July 6th in that he's a solo player. And I don't like
Absolutely.
that. I
And
don't like it.
he is that, but it doesn't work with anything. I would throw him right out if he were on my team. I
I
don't
agree.
like it.
I could not build around that. There's nothing to
Exactly.
build around there. That's why I can't. I mean, July drama here. I cannot under any circumstances keep 6. I really want to give him to
Yeah.
another team so that that all-star power is still somewhere in the BBL. But like, if I can't do that, he's going to LBL. Like that's MVB season 1. I need
Yeah.
to demote to LBL. I can't do it. I can't do another season of July 6th, getting in the way of everything. So I fully agree with you. If I had February 7th on my team, he'd be gone.
And it's absolutely, you know, you are one of the few persons that doesn't just swell in remembrance of past greatness. And
I do a little bit.
you do a little bit, but you are able-minded enough to not do it while you are, in quotes, working as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, like maybe part of the reason I look at September 7th so favorably is because he was like, season 1's amazingness, but he's still really good, and I think there's a lot there to work with still. So it's like a don't count him out yet. He's got a lot in him. But July 6th, there's nothing. Like you cannot build around that. I want to see July 6th and February 7th on the same team because it'll be a 1v1 at the end with them too. And it's like
Yeah, and
they're
February
both
7th will
solid.
win. I'll just say that.
Yeah, they're probably both solid, but they cannot work on a team. And
Yeah,
honestly,
sadly.
if you look at the role play like lore of BBL, that makes sense for July 6th.
It does
He's
make so much
like
sense.
he got a big head and thought he was the best on the team, and then got overshadowed by this new guy or not new guy, but a guy who was nothing last season, who's now like the star of the entire league. And now he's just trying to. He's like, oh fuck the team, But no,
Yeah,
he is not a team player. February
yeah,
7th isn't either, and I think February 7th kind of went through a similar arc in a shorter amount of time, whereas he was like heralded as the best in the league in the first couple of games, and then got quickly overshadowed by like every other player to ever exist,
yeah,
even including like February 29th. He was not the best. He's not the best player on his team,
yeah.
and I don't know how he was nominated for Rookie of the Year
Me
when there
neither.
were other really solid rookies. But he was, and he won it all.
Like
And that is
insanely
a
solid rookies.
tragedy,
March 31st.
right? Like, are you joking? That is the Rookie of the Year right
That
there.
is the fucking rookie of the year. He's not even
But I
nominated.
do have a pick from these 3, September 6th, February 7th, and May 4th.
I do
Um,
also, and I think this is the first where the winner, my pick and your pick, will differ.
I think we'll have the same pick.
Oh, okay, hit me.
I am going September 6th.
Yeah, we have a different one then.
Oh, okay.
I am gonna go May 4th. And my reasoning
Maybe
behind that.
maybe I'm just a September 6th glazer. I don't know.
No. It's valid. Let me say that it is so valid to put September 6th. And if he would have won it, I would have said, kudos to you. absolutely deserved it because he really did. May 4th, just like looking at the games played, it's crazy. 7 games played,
That's
8
true.
KOs,
That's true.
5 rebounds. I mean,
But I do
yeah.
want to put this on the table in defense of September 6th. I want Rookie of the Year to be whatever rookie had the most impact on their team's entire
Then it would
season.
have been September 6th for sure. Absolutely.
That's how I'm measuring it, and I think September 6th is the king of September. May 4th, there are a lot of other May balls that do well. Like 28th did really well,
Mhm.
as far as I remember. May 5th was also a very solid choice.
Yeah, 4.
Um,
3 games.
yes, but did very well
Yeah,
regardless.
it is true. It is true. Yeah.
But May 4th was exceptional. We cannot deny that.
Mhm.
But with the low number of games played, was never given the opportunity to really be the
Star.
star that
Yeah.
it was meant to
Which
be.
is a shame.
September 6th, however, was, and September 6th was crucial to September making
Yeah.
playoffs, September having
Absolutely.
any success at all. So I think personally, I think it's a blow out of the water. September 6th deserves it
Yeah,
because
he was given the
that is the
opportunity
rookie
and
that
he took it.
changed the team.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree with that, and it's really close for me. But I just think, again, I'm just thinking AI.
Yeah.
So
Okay. As a better player, May 4th is probably the better player, but I cannot overlook the impact on the team and September
yeah,
6th. Like
I
no
get
chance.
that, and that's valid, in my opinion too. So yeah, I get that. It's fair. Um,
Is that clutch ball or is it
I don't know. Yeah, I think this is comeback and this is clutch ball. So
that's
like,
stupid? Okay.
we don't have to talk about this, right?
What clutch? I mean, we can
Yeah.
talk a little bit. Like, I mean, we know.
Yeah, I have one sentence for you. It's a
Yeah.
disgrace that March
Yeah.
31st didn't win this award.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
No, yeah, completely agree. March 31st was the no-brainer pick for this.
Yeah.
April 1st, like I don't know, maybe I don't know, it's fine.
April 1st, yeah, he's alright. I
Like
think July
he
30th is the
probably
better clutch ball.
yeah, I think July 30th probably should have gotten nominated over Feb 7 because Feb 7 is
Yeah.
the single most overhyped player in the entire league, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. He has
Um,
3 clutch points, and both were from 3 V1s.
yeah,
And nothing besides that.
July 30th deserved the nomination instead of February 7th, I think.
Absolutely.
But
And still
I
March
still don't think
31st should have
yeah.
won.
Yeah, July 30th didn't hold a candle to March 31st clutch. I mean, March 31st, absolutely every day of the week,
Just
clutch ball.
insane masterclass this season by him. And I
Yeah,
really hope
'cause
he lifts the trophy.
those clutches have had more of an impact on the season than anything February 7th has done in their entire career. So
Yeah.
March 37th, no doubt about it, deserves this award.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Comeback ball. This is interesting.
Comeback.
I like this. These are nice picks, I have to say.
Yeah, I like
them.
the pick because there's two ways to look at it. It's Ball, who was kind of okay in the first season, and ended up being really exceptional, and May 28th being the Ball that did so awful, horrible, horrendous last season, and became pretty fucking good.
Yeah, the best
Not
player on
April,
this team,
not
probably.
no, I think that's May 4th, but it's like they're next to each other kind of thing.
Stat wise,
But
it's May 28th, but May 4th is clearly the better AI. Yeah.
yeah, but like April 1st and July 30th. I think April 1st is definitely my third place pick for this. Because if you recall season 1, he was still pretty fucking good. Like during
Mm-hmm.
playoff, like he was really solid. He kind of carried April through the playoffs.
Yep.
It was 1 in 30 doing really well as far as I remember. 25 kind of fell off a little bit there, even though he had a great
Yeah.
regular season.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, 1 had a fantastic playoffs. He was a notably good player in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And season
made
2,
Super
he kept
Bowl.
that up. Yeah, he made Super
And he
Bowl
was in
and
2
was
1v1s in the Super Bowl.
he was one of the big reasons they made Super Bowl.
Exactly.
But so for that reason he's out because he did not have a comeback. He was just already good and became better. July 30th, I don't remember anything that he did in season 1.
Same. But I
Like
I
He was a no
remember.
name,
Yeah,
but he wasn't notably bad.
yeah, that is true. But speaking of that, I do remember May 28th being the worst fucker in all of
Uh huh.
that.
Uh huh.
And that is
I
why
remember.
he's winning this for me.
Look, yeah, me too. The fact that May 28th had a TBZ post, a hot take TBZ post about him, saying May 28th is going to be the comeback ball of next season, and is like that shows how bad he was season one.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, looking at the Bubba's sheet, like strictly Bubba's, he's looks like ninth overall at a 72. Like that's impressive.
That is impressive.
And
It's a
that's
great
on Bubba's, so
storyline,
it's a
though.
little bit outdated, but like, dude, he killed
Yeah.
it this
I'm
season.
looking at the
Like
official one, and it's
that
still ninth. So,
that is the comeback of all time.
yeah,
May 28th is the comeback ball that has ever happened.
that's true. It's like, I really. Honestly, the only thing that could have topped this was November 30th being MVP.
True. Yeah, that's like the only thing that would have been better. But November 30th is 70th out of 72 on Bubba's.
Yeah,
So
on the
I don't think
official
November
one, too.
30th. I don't think he really had the comeback that May 28th had. So
No.
I think he may have gone from being one of the worst to pretty much the worst. So
Three
I don't.
games played, three fallouts, one rebound. He stayed consistent.
Hey, you know what? Better than March 20th. Better than March 20th.
And
Better than
somehow
May
somehow
23rd.
May again has ball at the very bottom.
To be fair, they only played him in 2 games, and I mean, not that
He
23rd is
did
good,
jack
but like they never
shit.
gave him the
He
chance to
fell
do
out 2 times, did nothing else.
anything. I think it's safe to say, at least in my perspective, May 23rd is probably the worst ball in the league. Just because it's nothing, not even a rebound. Come on now. But
But
no,
March, you have to
no,
just look
November
at the
30th.
AI of March 20th and laugh your ass off.
Yeah,
This
like how did
shit,
someone come up with that?
this shit is the worst I could even imagine a ball to be. He doesn't use his agility for anything besides finding the perfect angle to smoothly and slowly float out of the ring.
I do want to say I think one of the builds that I find hardest to work with is low speed, high agility. I don't.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, I do not see much value in it. In what I like to work with,
There
it's
is
not.
a lot of value.
It is not a build I like. I do like high speed, high agility. I like high dexterity, low speed. I like. I even sometimes like high speed, high dex, or mid speed, mid dex, low agility. But God, high agility, low speed does not do it for me. Or what did I say? I don't know. You know what I meant.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's correct. But I think it's great, to be honest. I think this is just
It's just not my play style. I know it's good. There are many
you.
instances of people showing that it's good. Like October 25th, I think is, if I'm not
Most good
mistaken, is
supports
that way.
have this build.
But it's not something I work well with. I don't love the build.
I get that. But March 7th, for example, is one of these.
No, March 7th is high dex.
Yeah, but also 60 in agility, which I count as high, considering he has 5 speed.
Right. I mean agility higher than any other stat. And like
Okay, yeah, I
mean
can get behind
like
that, but I'm looking at
high
solo
agility,
numbers.
mid
Yeah.
mid dex, low speed is not a build I like. I should clarify.
Yeah, okay. I see more what you
'Cause
mean.
I still see March 7th as a dex build overall.
So October 31st would be what you mean.
I knew it was one of the October guys. I thought it was 25th. Let me take a quick look to double check here. October, yeah, October 31st is what I mean.
I
Like
love
it,
this.
he's good, but I cannot work with that.
I absolutely could. If I could get October
Or
31st, I would take it.
August 8th is another good example. Really anything with 100 agility, I can't do it. And that's actually just
I also
August
think
8th
100
and
is
October
total
31st.
overkill. Let me
Oh, for
clarify
sure.
that.
Yeah,
Because
no stat to be
you
100.
cannot really use it in a way that is efficient.
Meaningful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
I
more
think I think
balls had it, it would be good, but they don't.
I think the only stat that should ever be 100 and really also shouldn't should be dex. But
Yeah.
like that's the best one to have, super freakishly high. But
Hmm.
like the other ones just like there's a plateau of how useful they become. And so I
Absolutely.
think
Yeah.
usually around like mid 80s is probably the highest you should go with something like that. But dex is the only one you can push it a little bit further.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree on that.
I mean, I'm a
Actually,
firm
yeah.
believer that dex is the best stat in the game. Agility
Uh,
probably second, speed third. I love playing with dex builds, so
yeah.
that is my forte
I
there.
don't have a view on that because it's all about the training and how you utilize the stats given. Doesn't matter
That's
what
true.
they are.
I do just feel like dex has a higher success rate with the training.
That may very well be, but I'm still looking at the training more than the stats.
I understand. I know it depends,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm looking
But
at the
I
system.
get what you mean. Yeah, but I just can't agree or disagree on that because
Fair
my
enough.
view of coaching
Fair
is
enough.
different, which brings us to coach of the year.
Yeah, coach of the year. This
Gonna
is
be honest, I expected so much backlash from this, and I also kind of
you got
dreaded
very
it,
little, I feel like.
and I got none.
You didn't get none. You got very little. But
When did I get?
there were a couple comments that were like Schmaxel didn't even make playoffs, and that was
Wait,
kind of it.
really? I didn't
Yeah,
even
yeah, but
see them.
that
Wait.
was all. It was
Let
like
me
one or
just.
two or something. But no, I believe that you are a solid choice. I think you probably of all the coaches are my second choice, and I think we both know who our first choice is, and I think it's the same person.
Who is
I
it?
think I'm gonna pick Rares. I think probably deserves this.
For nomination or award?
For overall, I mean for overall, I
Oh,
think he
yeah,
should have won.
absolutely.
He wasn't nominated, and that was a tragedy.
That was a tragedy.
But oh my God, March got robbed by so many of these.
Yeah,
But
that's why I hope they get a title.
Rares really, really deserved this award. Um, I maybe couldn't see it at the time because I mean, not that it would have mattered. He wasn't nominated, and I didn't pick the nominations.
Hmm.
But I maybe couldn't have seen it at the time. But after talking to Rares a lot as Romano, he is insanely smart about this stuff. And I think he is like I know we say that March has the best AI in the league, and that's probably true.
But they
But
also know
like
how to use
they
it.
had a crazy win streak, and that's because of yeah, Rare's
They
knowing how to
know how
use
to
the
fucking
amazing
use it. They
AI.
they realized it way earlier than most
Yeah,
teams.
yeah. And they had an undefeated streak for a
Yeah.
while and became one of the top, like they're the third place team. I mean, behind my own team, of course, but I didn't build up July from nothing.
Hmm.
And he did. He built up March from nothing.
I
Um,
I
and
gotta say,
he was their only coach.
yeah.
And having all of that just under only him and still jumping on that as early as he did, he is smart and he is successful. He is like Schmaxel if Schmaxel had a 6-5 record. But I mean, of course, he had a better record, but that's also because you're smarter than him, I think, at the end of the day, but not by a whole lot. And I think Rare's as a holistic coach, both activity, coaching success this season, and overall AI knowledge, there's no better pick than Rare's.
Yeah, looking at all of these, I
Yeah.
agree heavily. But
Now, looking at the nominations, I mean,
well, they don't
like,
really
look,
reflect that.
I hate to say this because I love Bill a lot. He's one of my biggest buddies, Oz Romano, but he really should not have been on here. He is a
I
very successful coach by brute force and luck. He does not know anything about AI, and I know that because I've had conversations with him, teaching him things about AI as Romano, and I've developed a bit of a rivalry with him because we both kind of started from the same place and had our first game against each other, and he was one of first July's first big losses. But he wins on luck. He does
Yep.
not know what he's doing, and that's a big problem. And I know he was nominated because October had a good comeback, and BBL today is an October fan. And unfortunately, I am fairly certain that is the reason he was nominated. I know
I also
that
think so, yeah.
I've heard today's description of why Belichick was nominated, and that is he has game plans that he says in the chats before each game, and today also doesn't know a lot about AI, which makes him think that Bill really knows what he's talking about when it's role play. It is,
Which
but
is
Belichick
still a characteristic for a good coach, in
now
my opinion.
it it is sure,
To
but
make
if
the players
Belichick
feel like they're proud of something, that's
If
huge,
Belichick
huge
if
part.
Belichick knew a lot about AI, absolutely. That is the one key component he's missing. He's got
Hmm.
the activity, he's got the community influence, he's got the success. He just does not have the ball knowledge.
Yeah,
And that is what puts him I don't know why he was nominated for that reason when Rares has everything and is
exactly.
the obvious shoe in. I would say there's definitely a case for if we're looking at it holistically that Schmaxel you shouldn't have been nominated because you did not have the season success.
I agree.
Um, and that was the one point where you fell kind of short. Now, I still think that you were a very solid choice for it, and I'm glad you were nominated and glad you won. But you would overall be my second choice because Rares has everything. I would like. I don't want to self-glaze that much either, and I know I've avoided talking about Romano, but I'm also like from a kind of third-party perspective, I agree with Romano being a nominee here because he's had success, he's had community involvement, maybe a little bit less, and he's had well, I mean, I mean, as Romano, I've had a little bit less, but he also has the ball knowledge. Like he does have everything as well, and I think probably he would have been my third pick, and I'm completely dissociating myself from him in this, but I think he would have been my third pick for it, behind you and then behind Rares as well. Those would have been my three nominations, I think, and Rares would have won it, but of these three, I think it goes to Schmaxel. I don't think there's a discussion about it. I mean, the ball knowledge is very, very, very important to me. That is the thing I value probably most highly, which is why Belichick, despite having everything else, would not be on the list at all. Um, ball knowledge is where it's all at, and we need three people with a lot of ball knowledge on here, which is why Romano, Rares, Schmaxel as a three nomination would have been very, very not controversial at all.
First of all, thank you, of course, for your kind words. But it's a bit hard talking about this topic without either coming off as, trying to make myself seem humble or trying to make myself seem better than I really am. But I'm still gonna talk about this because in all conversations, I sort of just quietly put myself at the top and didn't
Yeah.
really try and justify it in any way or form because I don't really want to, and I want to let my actions speak for themselves. But I still think it's important that I just get it off my chest, what I think. And what better way than my own podcast?
True.
So, everyone should know by now that I myself think that I have the most knowledge of anyone
I
in
don't.
BBL.
I think everyone agrees with that take.
Yeah. That's also not the thing that I'm like putting out as a hot take or whatever. Um, and I also think I should have won Coach of the Year. Not because I deserved it in season one though, because season one I did a lot of representation work, and I think without glazing myself, because I really don't want to fucking do that, but I just want to get some stuff off my chest. And I hope you do get it, and every viewer does get it. But I did it with the intention of making a credible name for myself and letting everyone know I'm not fucking stupid. I know what I'm
Hmm.
doing and I know what I'm talking about. If there is, random events involved or not. Um, Especially if they're not, of course. But I can still, even in random events, see patterns like I did in season one. You could see that in
Hmm.
my game analysis, and that's why I also talked a lot about that shit. Um, I think I deserve it because my view on the game is very much based on logic, reasoning. I have worked with AIs myself, so I know how AIs themselves work. I know how they develop, and I asked Skrelo a lot of questions on how he exactly modeled the AIs to work and how they act and react to certain situations. That's the only reason why I think I am in that much knowledge, because I just know what the AI is even trying to do with training, and no one else has that yet.
I
Yet
think
I'm saying
what
yet
Yeah, I think what's
because
interesting
yeah.
about the BBL community as a whole is with AI, there are a lot of children in the community,
Mhm.
but they don't fully understand the gravity of how much the AI affects. And I think at the end of the day, there are a lot of people in the community that still think it's overall pretty random. And there's an element of randomness to it,
It
as
absolutely is. Upsets can happen.
yes, but what happens is like it's a strategy game now. Like, I mean, for anyone who's ever played chess, it's kind of chess. It's kind of competitive Pokemon if you're someone more like me.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I agree
it's
with that heavily.
like there are maybe 10 to 15 people in the entire community that have any semblance of an idea of how to play this strategy game or that it is a strategy game. And those are the top coaches.
Yeah.
Like that's your Schmaxel, that's your Romano, that's your Rares, that's your Times, that's your 49. Like those
Jan
are the
15
people,
up
and
there, way
15,
way up
yeah.
there.
We haven't mentioned his name in hours, but yes. Oh my God. Those like people like that, and I'm sure there are people I'm forgetting right now. Like I think most teams have someone on their coaching staff who knows how it works, or
I
knows
wouldn't
that
say
it does at
most,
least work.
but a good view.
Well, no, no. I think April. Well, I mean, 49. I already mentioned him.
Yeah,
I think May Fan Page is one of those people.
absolutely.
I
I
think
heavily agree.
June doesn't have anybody.
No,
I think February also doesn't have anybody.
absolutely not.
August,
August also
August.
doesn't.
No, I think Alex actually has some idea. I think he's like if there's 10 to 15, he's like number 10 or 15. But he knows that there is a strategy game to be played, and he knows like a rule or two. Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
he's
I can
not
see what you mean. Yeah, not like
he
the
knows
in-depth
he
AI, but
knows
he knows to
he
differentiate between
knows
a good and a bad one.
not even really that, but more like there is a way to, and that he doesn't know
Okay,
that.
you're setting the
But like
bar
he
low,
knows
and I can see what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so he's August's guy, I think. September, of course, has Times.
Mhm.
October, of course, has nobody. Um, November, I don't know November staff enough. Like I've interacted with them a little bit
I
over
think they
BBL,
don't
but
have
Coach
one.
Alex, I have no idea. But December, like
December is a
maybe
tough one because I think Snowball could
I
be
I
that
don't know
person.
enough about their coaching staff.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
Harry
Snowball
Maguire
could
has no
be.
idea.
No, Harry doesn't have any idea, but I think
Yeah.
Snowball could have the idea, but doesn't have the time in personal life.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why activity has a lot to do with the success as a coach, which is why
Yeah,
people like Blossom probably wouldn't make this list either, even though they've had a good season and maybe even a semblance of an idea of how the games work. I mean, I've talked with Blossom about it. He has some
yeah,
idea of how it
me
goes,
too. But I think
but
he's just not on a standard to put
and
in top five or
he
six
what he
at
at
all.
least does is knows that he's not up there, and he knows that 49 knows the
And I
AI a lot
respect
better than
that
he
so
does.
much about
And I'm
Blossom.
glad he's letting his assistant coaches, being me and 49, kind of take over the planning for all that kind of stuff. I think that's a good move by him, and that's a
Yeah.
respectable move as a coach, is knowing your boundaries for that.
And that's also
Um,
why I now think more higher of him as a head coach than if he would have the knowledge.
that's right. Well, no, I would still think higher of him if he had the knowledge, but
No, no, but
eh,
I mean, like, taking that step back in the position of head coach, knowing damn well you could be replaced, but he's
yeah,
just
it's
proving his point that he
he
deserves head
wants
coach
he
positions.
he wants the betterness of the team, and that I respect a lot. I don't think anyone should be head coach of April except Blossom.
Exactly. I think the
He's doing an
same.
excellent job. I don't even think 49 should replace him. Well, I mean 49 is doing excellent work. 49
Yeah, but
does know his way around and does have a good idea. but Blossom is handling things very well. He has no reason to get fired.
Yeah,
If he were to
exactly.
get replaced, I think 49 would be the right choice.
But I
But
also think
I
49
don't
could
really
lead a
think
team
so.
of his own.
I think he could.
Yeah, he could. Absolutely.
Yeah, but like I mean, after that, like you get down to the teams that really have nobody, and it's like, you've got February,
June.
you've got June, you've got November, maybe December. Like it is most that has somebody on their team that's like, yeah, they really at least know that there is something
Yeah.
there. And August is the stretchiest stretch of all time, but like
Yeah,
Alex
August and
knows that there's a
November are
game to be
kind of
played.
unknown.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good kind of community, and I think some of the top teams are the ones with people like this. I mean, February was a fluke. We
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
But like the top teams, you got July, March, uh, who's the other? Oh,
January.
April.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. But you got like July, March, April. You got September. You got who else in the cold conference? October. Well, no, actually, that's a terrible example. No, but September. Like that's 4 of the 8 playoff teams that have like a lot of knowledge around them, and they made it that far. Like, I mean, 3 of
Because of
those were
that.
hot conference teams. Like the hot conference was insanely competitive, and
Cold conference
like
was 2
three.
on the bottom.
Shut up. The hot conference was extremely, extremely competitive, and the fact that 3 of the teams with somebody like who knows a lot about it, being March, who has Rares and Bubba's knowing a lot about it, July with Romano knowing a lot about it, and April with 49 knowing a lot about it,
And you.
them all making playoffs. Well, I wasn't part of their regular
Oh,
season.
okay.
Like them all making playoffs says something about how important it is to have a good coaching staff, especially for them. I mean, like let's really look at what BBL is from a completely objective standpoint. It is a strategy game that the coaches are playing with each other. Players have no influence. Player accounts
Yeah,
have nothing.
exactly.
Coaches are the ones playing the game, and
And I
they are the
also,
ones
but
like
I think,
making the moves.
yeah, and I think it's still, as a team owner and coach, it's so important to let the players know they're still part of something, even
Right.
though they have no influence. This is
But
like the core thing on January that I'm
whoever
trying to push for,
decides and submits lineups, that is the person playing the game. And
basically.
July, that's Romano. I do all of that as Romano. There's probably more player involvement I could have, but also none of my player accounts are active except for like 19.
Skill and shoot.
Um, who's great. I love 19, but he's going to the Monarchs next season because his actual birthday's in May.
Is July
Um,
21st not active anymore?
he's like I see a message from him like
Because
once every
I
couple.
think he's German.
What July 31st does, and my communication with him is me telling him the lineup so he can submit them since I'm not submitting for it. That's
21st
my
is
communication.
German, I think.
He's cool. I like him.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're still able to keep him on the team. But it's a
I tried to get him from you. We can say that.
I know, I know.
We can say
But
that. I really did.
it's yeah. So
But then again, I
coaches-
would have decided otherwise by now because I noticed something.
I mean, like all of the other awards here are ranking the tools that the coaches are using to play the game.
Basically.
But coach of the year is who actually has the most skill, like actual effort skill. And that's Schmaxel, and that's Rares. And I think there's no debate over that.
You are
Who
up there
knows how
too.
to? No, I think there's no debate over those 2 being the top. I could be third, but those 2 are the people who know how to use their tools the best,
I still
and
think
that is
you're
why they
second.
deserve. No, I don't deserve it because I don't know how to use specifically my tools as well as Rares. I may have better ball knowledge than Rares, but he knows his tools better
Okay,
than I know
yeah,
mine.
all right, yeah.
So
I will give you that. I agree
I
on
could be
that.
third. I could be third, but Rares I think deserves it.
Mhm.
You probably second, but of these 3, definitely you.
Yeah, what I just gotta finish like on my thought process real quick is
My bad.
that no, you're totally good. That's what we're here for almost 3 hours. I'm just adding an hour per episode. I'm just noticing,
Mm-hmm.
which is fucking funny.
Hey, how much was the JC one? How long was that?
2
That was like 4
hours.
hours. Oh, really? I thought that was like 4.
No,
Oh,
we're way over.
And this was our big thing. We're not even like done.
Yeah,
after
we're
this.
not even fucking done. We may have to do another episode later, but
Hey, we can bring 15 on or something.
yeah, we have to. You agreed to be
Or
on.
the infamous Schmaxel Romano JC
Oh my god.
coaching couch. That would be kind of crazy.
Yeah, that would be.
But JC totally wouldn't
JC's
do it. And
kinda,
also, we
yeah.
would talk a lot about AI, and JC would kind of not know how to
Yeah.
fit into that conversation.
But just like talking on the whole Coach of the Year thing, obviously I gotta say something to it, because through comments and stories, it's just not what I want to do. So if you hear me say this and you think that I deserve this award or not, I would still want you to listen, because what I say now is what I would love to say, but my fingers are getting tired by typing it all out, and I need to say it out loud. And I don't want to make like a video or something of me saying it, because that would be fucking weird, and my podcast is the way of form which I'm representing this with. This award means a shit ton to me, like really fucking much. I have put many things aside in my personal life for all of this, for this community, because I really enjoy being in this community. I enjoy every single second of it, even though some of the people in here are not people that I particularly like or would surround myself with in my personal life. It's still a great ecosystem, because it's very colorful, it's very accepting. And I do think, even though there are many people that joke about things in a questionable manner, and say things I do not agree with, it's the whole vibe that we can have these people in and still get along together that's making this so great for me. I oftentimes got told by real life friends and my girlfriend that this is stupid shit, that this is just not worth the time that I put in, because they notice I'm a lot on my phone to write with people, analyze stuff, make lineups. They didn't see that, obviously, which is totally fine. But still, that's what I did while on my phone. I did a little bit of a drop back on my university stuff. Not noticeable in any grades, because I don't fucking care about my grades. I just want to get it done because I know I will be a good teacher. But that's a whole nother point. But I'm taking time off uni and accepting lower grades for all of this, and to keep this community up and running, especially. This award is less on I did a good job convincing people I'm a good coach, but more on I do really have these abilities that I made everyone show that I have. Because I suffered from imposter syndrome like a lot in my life. And just getting this award after being eliminated out of contention for playoffs it's amazing. Not in the normal kind of way, when you win an award after you do good, and obviously you won it because, well, you won it all, so you deserve an award. No, I did jack shit this season.
Jack, hey, reference to never mind.
But I we performed poorly. I don't want to blame it all on AI, because it's not all on AI. We just realized too late the tools we had, and like you just said, I didn't utilize them. We didn't utilize them, because later on, January 15th also was involved in this, and he knows, and we know, and I know that I sort of fucked up that one earlier in the season. Sure, I still needed time to learn all of what I know now about the AI, which is fine. I will come back stronger, no doubt on that. I know a lot about my shit that I'm doing now, but I still failed in some way. But to see this kind of be forgiven by every single person that not only voted but also congratulated me on getting this award and told me it was deserved because I have the most knowledge, is really giving me a sense of acceptance for what I do is real work, and it makes a difference that I'm doing it. It makes all of this worth because I know I am good in what I'm doing. And this gives me just more motivation to do this. And I just want to say this from the bottom of my heart on a personal level, not as the online persona Schmaxel, but as the real live person Schmaxel with personal life, personal issues.
Your
It's
birth given name Schmaxel.
But it's like the real person saying thank you outside of roleplay, outside of any votes, outside of balls bouncing around. This is a real thing that I can be proud of because I know that all of you see that I'm good at it. And I thank you for that. Every single person of you. And that's just what I wanted to get out there.
Yeah. I'm really glad you got the recognition that you did, because I agree that it's really important, the influence and the impact that you've had on the community overall. I'm glad that you got this specifically to recognize all your efforts toward that and how much you are supporting this community. That said, though, I wish there was a fan league one, because maybe I get some recognition for all my time into BBL. But hey, maybe next season.
I mean,
but
you do get like BBL is just so big.
I get actual immediate glory. Never mind. But if I wanted to, I would make an award for myself, and people would just be like, "Oh yeah, that's official." Best fan league, me, guys. But no, there's no one in the community that's at least in recent memory made as much of an impact as you. I mean, there are people who've come close. And I think
you
I'm
are
one of
though.
those
You are
people.
though. Definitely.
Okay, from a coaching perspective, it's known as made a bigger
Okay.
impact. Okay, maybe on the whole community, I've made a little bit of a bigger impact. That's just because I've put more material out there for other people to work with. But you've put a lot of your more efforts into January specifically. It's maybe that's where the line is drawn. But either way, like, come on, there's no one that puts as much effort into this shit as you do.
Thank you.
Like
This means
no
a lot.
one. But
this really means a lot.
I mean, there's some kings of the community, and I think we're both a couple of them. I think 15's another. Yeah. We've got, I think, 49 a little bit, but he's taken a step
predictions,
back. I think predictions, yeah.
Absolutely.
Like there are people that are like, yeah, those are the people kind of running the community right now. And I think I am very literally running the community as
absolutely, because you put out stuff, if BBL shall be no more.
I am going to be the new Skrelo, but hopefully not Skrelo.
Yeah. But yeah, that's.
Oh, I do want to touch on the Skrelo announcement.
You really want to? You really want to? I mean, it is a big point. We have to talk about it, basically. But yeah.
I mean, for those of you who have not or who have been living under a rock at BBL, Skrelo put out an announcement yesterday after he didn't post on the BBL whatever the hell, the account, and he said, "I know a lot of y'all are upset at me for not posting playoffs yet. It had been like 3 weeks. Took a while to get the All-Star voting out, and some of y'all have been wondering why I've been MIA, and I'll fill you those in who'd like to know." And he basically goes on to say, I've been looking for a job, and it's really hard to look for a job and run BBL at the same time. I haven't had the time to do both. And I feel like it wasn't doing as well because I feel like it doesn't have a niche in the Instagram algorithm as much anymore. And that is making me not motivated to do it anymore. And so I'm putting that on a back burner while I also look for a job. And I just want to say to Skrelo, as my official response to this, as the official competitor to Skrelo, God, that's weird to say, is you're waffling. You look, I am younger than you. I know that. I know you're like 28 or whatever the hell
25,
geezer you are. He's old. I get it.
Dude.
I am an adult. I am looking for jobs as well. That is one of my active pursuits as I'm doing all of this as well. Not only that, I'm engaging with the community more than you are. Not only that, I also have a job of my own that I also do. Like I have like almost 40 hours a week for that job, in addition to searching for jobs, in addition to running this league, in addition to being insanely committed to the community, in addition to also having a girlfriend, in addition to also doing homework for a class that I'm in. Over the summer, even like not even mentioning all the stuff that was actually during my school semester. Um, like just lazy. Like you're just so lazy. You don't care. Just admit that you don't care. I do all of the shit that you mentioned and infinitely more. I have a lot of side projects. I edit people's doctorate projects. Like I edit them for grammar and stuff because that's what I'm studying. I wrote an article that's going to get published in a magazine later this month. I am doing a lot. And the fact that Skrelo's like I've been applying to jobs and that's taking up all of my time. What time is that taking up? As someone who's doing full-time job applications, like that, I don't know. Each application maybe takes like 30 minutes, then you're done with it. Then you move on to the next one, another 30 minutes. You can crank out like seven of those in a day, over 3.5 hours. It's not really that long. And then still run as someone who runs simulations and posts them for a league and makes better graphics, higher effort graphics than you do. It doesn't take that long. It doesn't. Like, you're really just lazy. And if those are the only things you've got going on in your life, where it's applying for jobs and not having one at the same time, and running this league, that's all you've got going on, dude, you don't care. And especially the fact that you put September in the hot conference on the last minute Google form that you did for the All-Star game, that you even said, I'm working on the Google form right now, y'all chill on the TBZ post for the riots. No, you didn't need 3 weeks to work on that Google Doc. You didn't need 3 fucking weeks, dude. And to post it half-assed with incorrect information on a story post where things were off center, on a create mode story post. All you had to do was write a couple dates. Dude, I could do that in the next 5 minutes. And you took 3 weeks and are trying to say that that was the thing that hung you up for 3 weeks. Don't even. Like, please, for the love of everything holy, give your account away. Give your sim away to someone who cares. For the love of God, do that. I know that once I get tired of VBL and I'm not able to run it anymore, or I have other stuff conflicting, I am giving it to someone else, someone who actually cares about it, if there's anyone left for that. Like, if you don't care, admit that you don't care. But also, it was pretty cool seeing VBL mentioned in your thing. It's nice to know that you're one of the VBL faithful watchers. Like, you probably watch VBL more than you watch BBL, if I'm gonna be like, if I'm gonna, be honest with myself here. You've been watching the VBL algorithm, seeing if I could pick up any Steam in terms of views as per your words. I did. You thought I was in the same boat as the BBL and LBL. BBL and LBL have been steadily decreasing. I've been steadily increasing. I even had one get really picked up by the algorithm. The algorithm, there is an audience there. I think your statement is astute that it is not as much of a trend as it used to be, and I think part of that has to do with Project JDM not posting as much anymore. But like, there's an audience out there for it, and I'm reaching that audience. And you have stopped doing a lot of these social media things that you did well at the very beginning that even I'm not doing now. Um, you're not doing a lot of those anymore, and that is what is putting viewership down. Of course, the AI is something putting viewership down. Let's not lie to ourselves. I love the AI and I want you to keep it, but it is putting viewership down because a lot of your audience was ADHD to begin with, and they don't love the AI. But the competitive side of the community, including myself, including Schmaxel, love the AI. And I think if you keep up with that, the algorithm will pick you up again because that's how the algorithm works is if you post consistently the same kind of thing, then it will start pushing it out to the followers who are loyal to that because right now you have a lot of followers who aren't. Um, And if they interact with it a lot, it'll get pushed out further to the algorithm. That's how it works. And so you have a lot of followers who aren't engaging with your stuff because they don't care about the AI. So the best move for BBL would probably be to move out of AI, and then the best thing for the LBL would probably be to move into the AI because that's a fresher slate. All I know is I know for Velocity Ball League, there's nothing I can change, or else I will lose all the steam I've picked up. And I think one of the big marketing things that you did well that helped for your virality that I need to do, and I am doing in season two, is changing to month teams. I know that's kind of a controversial opinion in the community, but like that was the one thing that you always did well. And the reason that I don't have insane viewership is because no one cares about Toronto versus Toronto. Like no lay audience is going to care about that. But look, I just wish you would give it off. I mean, I think everyone does. Everyone would wish you admit to giving up and give it to somebody else. But I'm doing a lot of things better with VBL, I think, than BBL and LBL right now. And it's a very narcissistic thing to say that, but I think the views are pretty indicative of that.
I mean, right now, I think I definitely have to agree.
I've got
Um,
I've got more growth is kind of what it comes down to.
yeah, I mean, right now, it can't be argued with that the effort that is missing is just a problem.
Hmm.
There are things that I already said to it.
I mean, long gaps are also a thing that stop the
Exactly.
algorithm from picking you
Yeah,
up. Like
yeah.
there are a lot of things that you're just not good at social media stuff at that Velocity Balding is doing
Which
better
is
right
not
now.
even a personal attack. I think it's
No,
just like
it's just you
it's a
need someone
fact.
else to know how to do social media, and if you want to be successful at social media, if you don't know anything, you're not going to do well.
Yeah. And what I would love to say to that is already stated in written form on Here We Go's post. That is, Babas, Here We Go, great guy. Check out Here We Go because I have said everything to this before. And it was,
AKA Bubba's a great guy.
yeah. And I have said, like, I commented down there what is missing and what is the problem, what should be done, and it's basically split up all you need to do. You can, like, Skrelo can keep ownership and all. I wouldn't care. I would help with organizing the teams, setting up award votes, getting the lineups in, creating transfer rules. I would do all of that for free. But it's just it's an offer, of course, but it's ultimately up to Skrelo to really decide because it's his thing. It's I just don't want this community to die. That's all. I don't want
Same
this
here.
community to go anywhere because I think my life would change to the worse if that happened because it gives me a lot. But
I
yeah,
am competing with Skrelo as the Velocity Ball League, not because, well, I mean, for season one, it was all because the community deserved a good league. Season two is more about a lot of the community is going to leave if BBL doesn't stay the same, or at least doesn't stay balls in arena and players and coaches and all that. If that changes, a lot of them are leaving, and
I
I
think
want
AI
them to
too.
have an out. I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are excited about VBL not having AI, but personally, I love the AI.
Yeah, same.
Um, but VBL is a successor if you decide to keep up the way you've been going. And I would prefer if BBL didn't have all the problems it's having, and VBL could stay as the third league. But unfortunately, VBL is starting to look like the failsafe, and I really, really don't want it to come to that. But I have it just in case, so the community can stay alive.
Which is good to know, but bittersweet. Um,
A little bit.
yeah. But I mean, I will you know say that I have to take a step back from some of the stuff you said. This is your opinion, of course. I find it valid. It's understandable, and you stated it and worded it in a way that makes total sense and is also pretty direct, which I appreciate. Um, I just think hope is not gone. It's savable. It just needs to happen quick.
Right. No, I agree with that. I think what I meant more is hope would be gone if
Yeah, yeah,
if either the BBL and LBL stopped or BBL turned into the experimental sims that I know Skrelo's been playing around with and had some success with. Then the community would be in shambles, I think, over that,
yeah.
and that's when they would
Absolutely.
turn to VBL.
Just
But
you.
I agree
Yeah,
with you that any other scenario where BBL and LBL stays up kind of the way it is, even if it's held up by other people in the community, or even if it's held up in kind of a maybe we go back to BBL season one, there'd still be a lot of people around for it. But but I have VBL just in case worst case scenario happens. I don't think BBL is hopeless. I don't think the community is hopeless. I mean, Skrelo responded yesterday. That means that he cares a little bit, not a lot, but a
that's
little bit.
true. Even though
But I
I
think it's
don't like the
also more
paragraph
peer
of
pressure.
a lot of changes to be expected. I hate that.
Yeah, that's what makes me think that it's going to be the experimental new sim,
Yeah,
which is another thing I think the community is going to die over, which is why I think the VBL is important to have.
yeah, I agree. Um, but I don't want to put any shade of to you, of course. Um, but I have to say that I also don't want to put any shade on Skrelo because personal stuff can happen, of course. And if it just doesn't seem like it has happened, like you stated, I for most of it agree with it. I'm just not a person to state things in a extreme. Um, at least most of the time, I'm not. I try to stay in the middle and sort of give the benefit of the doubt to people. Um, that's because I have to say to this that on the baseline and on all you said, agree, but not on that strong on how you said it, which is totally fine.
I made a comment on some BBL, I think Here We Go post a while ago about like, and by while ago I mean like probably early April. That was like, Skrello is the kind of guy that really knows how to run a community. He really knows how to keep it alive and stuff. I take it back, um, and I think for obvious reasons. But I I'm geeking pretty hard about like I don't know. I like of course I idolized Skrello a little bit when I first joined the community because it was the guy. It is the guy. He's the guy. But to know that he's watching VBL is kind of cool. Like that's the like couple months ago me kind of geeking out over that. Like, well, he's watching me. He knows who I am. Well, he doesn't know who I am, but you know, like he knows the thing that I've made. He recognizes me as his own competition, which is insanity for me. That this 70K follower account is like that guy with 450 followers is the guy to watch. That's pretty flattering. And I know I've said a lot of critical stuff about Skrelo, but of course the whole community idolizes him. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
even I still do to. If I didn't idolize him, I wouldn't have made the BBL. Like, I wouldn't have started the
of course,
BBL
of
account.
course.
But and I think a lot of probably my negativity toward him is me holding him on a pedestal to begin with. But it's also me putting myself in his shoes a little bit, and I think he takes it less seriously than I do, and I think that's where the fundamental disconnect is. So not he's not a bad person for it, but I just don't like how he's reacting about it, and I think I don't think that's a terribly hot take. He's not a bad person for it. I wish he cared about it as much as I do, as someone who really cares about it, and I hope that me caring about it can translate to VBL success because that was
I think it
I
can.
mean, going back to coach of the year, like you need a couple things. You need engagement with the community, you need knowledge, and you need passion for it. And I think Skrello versus me, I have all three of those, and Skrello's missing at least one.
Yeah, that is true. He's missing exactly one, and that's a passion at the moment.
Well, I mean,
It's yeah.
community involvement too, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what passion is for me. To
yeah, they
care
kind of go
about
hand in hand.
the
I get
thing.
you.
Yeah, but it's a rough time, especially since we got an update for a long time finally, and the update somehow didn't solve any issues.
Yeah, we're in the BBL dark ages right now.
We
He didn't even give us
really are.
He didn't even give us a timeline for anything, like an expected timeline. If he was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, which is just
maybe
the next
maybe the
bad
All-Star
sign. Yeah.
game will happen in a week or so, and then the week after I'll start playoffs and only post weekly." I would have been okay with that. I would have been
Yeah.
pissed off, but I would have been like, "Okay, well, I guess I'll stick around." I mean, I'm gonna stick around because I've got my own thing going on, but like I don't know. Use your head a little, Skrelo. You know what's going on. Don't be ignorant.
Yeah, that's a big point. Don't be ignorant, please. Just don't. That's like the thing.
He's not an idiot.
Yeah, he isn't. It's I wouldn't even say he's lazy. I just think he doesn't want to deal with all the people, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just us. Maybe that's just me and you and every other person thinking wrong. Maybe it's not. We can't really tell. We have to see how it all goes.
Maybe those Google Forms actually just took him 3 weeks.
Maybe they did.
Maybe he was having a lot of
Um,
software trouble with G Suite and was too stubborn to turn to any other form software.
But all I can say is that I have put and will put and have planned things to put in the effort to keep it all running and to also keep the BBL we have right now and the ecosystem we have right now running because I value it a lot. But I already said that, and I think
It is kind of insanity to know that people in the community are putting more effort toward BBL than BBL is.
it is,
And they kind of always
insanity.
have, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Sadly. But
Yeah.
I think right now we just repeat things we said over and over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I think that's a good note to end, even though it's a kind of sad one. Damn.
Oh yeah, it got dismal toward the
Yeah,
end there.
it really got sentimental, got angry, and now it's
Coach
just
of the year. Yeah,
it's
coach of
it's a
the year and
bummer.
on. It was a little damn.
But yeah,
I am the most depressing guest on the coaching cast so
not
far.
really, because I enjoyed every second, and your
it was-
takes
it was
are
fun.
your takes have heart in it, and your takes have reason in it, which makes them valid on its own. And I'm not mad to give you the platform to put it out there.
I appreciate it. I've had a lot of things pent up to say that I wasn't able to say as April 12th, but hey, anyone who's listened to this whole thing now knows the full story of April 12th. If they also just look at the posts on my profile and it's like, well, that's that guy, I guess. He did all that. He did a lot, and he's still here. Why am I still here? Jesus Christ! Oh God, dude, I was thinking of dropping out like early April. I was like, do I really want to keep doing this?
I'm glad you didn't though.
Throwback to when it was all just let me stick a ball on a
Oh, yeah.
muscular guy, and that's the community, baby. No, it's so much more. It's so
Yeah,
hard.
It's so much more, and I'm glad. I'm really here for it, and I will stick around for it. Maybe not as a
Yeah.
coach if AI gets removed, but as a team owner and a damn well invested one, and everyone on January knows, and everyone outside.
BBL
You
team
better
owner,
know I
baby.
put the effort in, so please do too. Please make your
Jump
teams of
ship
way
to
more
VBL.
official.
Yeah, go VBL. We love VBL. Yeah.
But yeah,
Who
no,
up
that's
Januarying they magnetic, dude.
I January till she magnetic, yeah, or something like that. I don't know. I'm old, but
She June on my VBL till I splash or something.
shut the fuck up, dude. But yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you for sticking around if you did. And also
Nobody
get some fucking hobbies. Like 3
Oh,
hours
shit.
and 17 minutes of listening to this jack shit. Please get a girlfriend, dude. Do
Dude, yeah. Like,
please. You,
get some love and or something. Some
it's
sweet,
not
sweet
worth
love.
it.
Listen to some music, dude.
Yeah.
Like, why do you still have us on?
Yeah, we don't have like the nicest voice. I mean, April 12th does have a fucking nice voice.
Oh yeah, baby.
He does have a fucking nice voice, and he knows it, which is fucking annoying. He's kind of a dick, and a
Oh,
bad
yeah.
person. I hate him.
But I've got that Frank Sinatra voice, baby. That well, I mean, it's not very apparent when I talk, but I mean,
he can sing. I know that he can sing. But anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you for being here. 12. I heavily
Yeah, thanks for
appreciate it.
inviting me. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. It was. And well, let's see when the next episode comes out. You know, I'm not consistent with it, but I still appreciate everyone that is tuning in. And yeah, just share it if just even a timestamp if you think someone should know what we talked about. Just share the timestamp. I don't care if you listen to the whole thing. Of course,
Yeah,
it would be nice.
share the Romano reveal timestamp. That one.
Maybe that one, yeah. But at least like the message to all the people, because it's really important that the people know they have given me happiness in my real self. And also the part about Skrelo, because I think it's important that we talk about this. I think it's our responsibility as Ep.3 and Schmaxel to talk about this. And we fulfilled it. Alright, thank you, and have a nice day going forward, wherever you are on the world, whatever you're doing in your life right now. Have a good one, and see ya until next time.